would make it this far. They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Ay, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Ay, I can never let up even if you had enough. Ay, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling. They already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right.
Alright. Salute HCP, what's good? What's really good? Salute. Shout out to everybody in the building. One more again. Yeah. We back at it again, man. No live last night. I was busy, guys. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. I had to go to work, right? I was thinking about taking off for the fight. But look, man, I watched it at the job. But I wasn't going to be able to call live. But we're going to get into it. We're going to dive into it. You know, hey, man, this one was a big fight for many reasons, right? Not on a competitive level like we normally, as real boxing fans, look forward to seeing fights for. But the fight was a fight that was going to check a lot of boxes, answer a lot of questions. Going into it, obviously, the rumors spinning around this fight and what it really was going to look like. Was it scripted or not? And I think we all got some answers, but you know, tonight was one of those nights where I'm coming on. It's kind of like a pop-up, but it's not a pop-up. I planned on it earlier, but I'm opening up the panel because I'm really interested in what everybody else is thinking about this fight. I thought there was some standouts on there. Shout out to the young prospect, Jamal Harvey putting in that work last night. Man, a lot of promise, man, for a prospect fighting a fighter 5-0 with 5 knockouts, performing the way he did, dominating. And I love a prospect who knows how to commit to the body, you know what I'm saying, who takes his time, who shows that poise. He checked those boxes, man. Real good showing by Jamal Harvey last night. Alicia Baumgardner did her thing. 3-minute rounds, 12-round, 3-minute round fight. An opportunity for the females in boxing to take their time now. You know, with those 2-minute rounds, 2-minute, 10 2-minute rounds, it does feel like the action gets pressed a little bit. Therefore, you know, female boxing has earned a reputation for being a way more action-packed pace, you can say, just because they have to get at it. In 2 minutes, you got to make it happen. So 3 minutes gave Alicia Baumgardner time to allow her game plan to develop, take her time and get the timing of her opponent that was in front of her and really break down the opponent. I thought it was a good fight. We'll talk about it, though. We'll talk about it, right? Because obviously the other big female on that card, Caroline Dubois, sweet Caroline, right? Sweet Caroline Dubois, also on the same card, she put on a masterclass as well, right? Maybe not as action-packed as some people would want to be. I'm not too sure. the panel as you guys come up here. I'm sure will let us know what you guys thought about that fight. But interestingly enough, if you were paying attention to what Caroline Dubois said in the press conference leading into the fight, she said, keep an eye on my fight, keep an eye on Alicia's fight. And you guys let us know. You guys let us know who is the future of women's boxing. And we'll talk about that as well. Anderson Silva scores a knockout on Tyron Woodley. I expected it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what I thought was going to happen. Tyron Woodley's earned a great reputation for himself to being chinny. Might be an understatement. We saw Jake Paul put Tyron Woodley to sleep. We seen Tyron Woodley also suffer some stoppages in his MMA career, late in his MMA career before he decided to retire. And here we go into a fight with Anderson Silva, somebody who has that precision, right? Somebody who's going to take his time and put that work in. He did that very easily, right? But we'll talk about it. How did you guys feel about the fight? Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua takes 6 rounds to get Jake Paul out of there. Are we upset? Do we feel like it was a script? I mean, I never went into it feeling like it was scripted, and I don't believe it was scripted, right? I know there's a lot of complaints circulating in the space right now as far as wanting Anthony Joshua to end that fight sooner. Him being the pedigreed Olympian, two-time gold medalist. No, excuse me, one-time gold medalist, two-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. But, things take time, man. And when somebody doesn't want to fight, it is what it is, right? We'll talk about all of that and whatever else is going on in the space. Next week, we're going into Monster Inoue versus Picasso. We've also got Nakatani Juno Nakatani on that same card. So we're going to end the year soon, getting ready to roll out into 2026. And, of course, the end of the year show will be popping up as well, where we'll be talking about our fight of the year, trainer of the year, right? We'll be doing all our of the year candidates and giving out awards out to those guys, right? Whatever you want to call it. It is what it is, man. So salute to everybody in the building. As you're stepping in the building, take a moment, hit the like button. Don't hesitate to do that, and definitely subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody who's checking us out on Twitter. We are streaming on Twitter tonight. So we're at Twitter at the same exact time right now. Normally we'd be on Facebook as well. I think there's something going on with Facebook. I don't know yet what the problem is, but normally we're going to be streaming on Facebook as well. I'll be streaming on Instagram as well. We'll be joining on all these different platforms. So let's grow the channel, trying to hit that 3,000 subscriber mark here on YouTube before the end of the year. And next year, we're trying to do some things and see this channel grow exponentially, right? It is what it is. Salute to everybody in the building. Before we go ahead and get it started, let me go ahead and bring up one of the usual suspects up into the building, my guy, Angelo Reyes boxing. Salute, Angelo. What's good with you, family? We got some family in the background too. I see you guys back there, by the way. We'll be pulling you guys up very shortly. Bear with us, man. Hold us down for a second. I see you, Kai. I see you, Literary Pharaoh. Literary Pharaoh, watch. I haven't seen Literary Pharaoh ever come up here, so that's going to be interesting to hear him build. A very articulate brother. I watch Literary Pharaoh every now and then on YouTube. He talks about more like current things, like not about boxing so much, about an assortment of things. But a very articulate brother. So it'd be good to have a conversation with him for the first time live, right here on ATP Combat Media. But salute, Angelo. What's good with you, man? Last night, me and Angelo was getting it in, bro. We was talking about this fight. Angelo, man, very opinionated. I'm not going to put Angelo on blast because he was getting real spicy last night, talking real crazy. He said he was going to deny. If I said too much, he was going to deny it. So I don't want to go there.
I could get you too, man.
Hey, bro.
There's the off the record conversations.
Let's shake it out. We ain't gotta go there. You got something on me. I got something on you. You know what I'm saying? We'll leave it there. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But
I get it. Our goal, whenever we do these, is to educate you guys, because we want you guys to everybody. And I've taken the time since watching it last night, and as you know, Clay, I have a 21-year-old, and he's of that kind of Jake Paul influencer age group and whatnot, and getting his perspective on it, and then been watching a lot of the UK news. They're all overall what their perspective on it. So the spectrum is really, really wide, right? You have the Ariel Helwani spectrum, where he came out and he said he was more he was honest, but leaning more towards a positive, right?
Mhm.
And then in the UK, everybody was, for the most part, all of them across the line pretty much were more, hey, look, man, it's good. Anthony Joshua did the job, but let's not do that. They, from their words, they don't really give a lot of credit per se to Jake Paul being in there. And a lot of their sentiments, if you guys go across the board with any of the big UK podcasters or news, is that it's not a participation trophy type sport. You don't get credit for participating. Like, doesn't work that way. Is their overall feeling. And from what they had been, a lot of them, I've sent you some of how strong they feel about it. From Frank Noble, who we pay attention to a lot. If you guys don't know who that is, the old man who still boxes, and he's very strongly opinionated that Jake Paul's not a boxer. There's a big difference, and all he really did was run around. And then there's the Ariel Helwani perspective of it, right? Where Ariel's like, you know what, like it or not like it, but it wasn't like anyone ever thought that Jake Paul would win anyway. This is more to say that, salute to Jake Paul for getting in there, and it's a very difficult task, no matter who it would have been, and he was more on the positive light, very, very similar to a lot of the things that I know you feel too, Clay. Right. So in breaking it down, guys, like when you come up to the panel, there's going to be a lot of different perspectives in this. At the end of the day, it happened. We saw it. It was so big that Raider Nation, I was shocked, Clay, with Raider Nation, like main podcasters who did posts and talked about it. I'm like, this has nothing to do with football. Why are you guys doing?
My sister, right, who doesn't watch anything, hit me up last night like, Jake Paul was, so she was watching the fight. There was a lot of and that's what Jake does, right? Jake brings the casual fans to the space. They're going to watch it. They're going to watch. Everybody was watching the fight last night. So that was good for the sport. The arena, the show out in the arena wasn't as good as I think we wanted it to be. Or even we wanted to, or think, because we didn't have a horse in the race. But it took a long time for the arena to fill in. It is Miami Beach. We talked about it a lot, South Beach, and there's so much to do out there. People, this is what you do, right? There's the pre-show to the pre-show to the pre-show, and there's bars to go to. There's little nightclubs to go to that you can go to in the middle of the day, all the way until going. In Miami, you club hop. You know what I'm saying? You go from one club, you party, you go to another club, you party, and we're out, we're going to this other spot, and that's the culture out there. But regardless, a lot of casual fans did watch it, so that's a good thing, I guess, right? Bringing more eyes to the sport. The questions and concerned about Jake Paul getting hurt real bad, what that would look like. I don't know what we can about that as well. As far as, did he get hurt bad? Did the boxing space? I don't think he got hurt bad. He got his jaw broken.
Well, I mean, it's pretty. I'll tell you this. What as you know, Clay, we were watching it with my wife too, and she was like, "He's really lucky that punch didn't land on his temple." Because we could be talking about a brain contusion, a coma, something else, right? It's kind of a split statement when you say, well, he's really lucky it didn't land there, because where it did land, and I've sent you the post of the doctors talking about it, his jaw broke in 2 different places. It wasn't like one of these clean breaks. It was so ugly, he's going to lose some teeth. So it's going to take some time for it to just heal well enough that they can give him dental implants. So it'll take the process of about 9 months to even get him to maybe 90%
to where he can even start
of the jaw being strong enough. No, of just the jaw being strong enough. He's not sparring anytime soon unless he never wants to have teeth or nothing. You know what I mean? He's not doing none of that. So it is a very serious injury in that sense. It wasn't like a nice clean break. It was a very ugly type of
bludgeoning.
A bludgeoning. And there's we've seen the takes too, Clay, of a lot of people going, I'm so happy this happened. And it's like, Me and Clay we're not sitting there, we're not happy for anyone getting hurt.
we
Like,
wasn't.
no one's happy about this, right?
Mhm.
I think again, our whole point leading up to this was us saying this is important so that everybody can realize that there's the art of boxing that's represented by Anthony Joshua, a person who's dedicated his entire life into the sport, has won the gold medal, has won the world championships, and even at the tail end of his career, though he's still active, he's closer to 37 now, and he's really closer to the end. We might see Anthony Joshua fight one more year, right?
Right.
That version of a boxer is still going to be better than someone who's only trained for 5 years, who didn't grow up in the sport, and that's kind of like, I think that everybody finally now got to see that, right? Like they finally can admit that you can say any positive things you want about Jake Paul, but he's not the boxer per se that you guys think he is, because, and this is where we can get into the debate. I didn't see an improvement. I for every single person that has said, well, I've seen Jake improve from Tyson's fight last year, which was 2-minute rounds. Like, I haven't seen an improvement. He still has the one big right that he tries to land. I didn't see any change level of jabs. I didn't see any slipping. I didn't see any I saw him running a lot, which is very easy to do when you have a 22 by 22 foot ring, an unstandard ring. But the ring that everyone, including amateurs, fight at, which is 20 by 20, this thing would have ended a lot sooner. So to all the people, Clay, you keep going, Anthony Joshua was carrying him. I've had friends texting me that, right? Anthony Joshua was carrying him. Like, you guys don't understand how hard it is to box someone who doesn't want to engage with you, and how much harder it is when it's in a football field.
It is difficult. You know what I'm saying? And there was you didn't get to see. I'll say that I've seen Jake Paul improve through his career from fight to fight, and how he looks in the ring. But that fight right there wasn't a showcase of an improvement of Jake Paul. You know what I mean? Jake Paul, it was always a question and concern to a degree as to how this fight got put together and why it got put together, right? It just didn't make sense. Jake Paul went from a Gervonta Tank Davis situation and went all the way up to a Anthony Joshua situation. So this wasn't a fight where going into it, people should have been too optimistic about what Jake Paul was going to do in there, but more so interesting and intrigued to see how he was going to survive for however long it was going to take him to survive. Hey man, at the end of the day, what do I give Jake Paul credit for? I give him credit for jumping in the ring with a grizzly bear. You know what I'm saying? He did it, and for all the people who said it was scripted or staged, I couldn't disagree with you guys more. I don't think that's what it was at all. I think Jake Paul, at the end of the day, did the right thing, by the way. I think he moved around and got away as long as he could. I don't think he should have ever had in his mind for one moment that he was going to compete with Anthony Joshua, and even worst case scenario, put himself in the crosshairs of getting hit with something early. I think he tried to survive as long as he could, and as his legs left him, he slowed down and like I told you and I told Ray, what I'm saying, he closed his eyes and he said, this one's for the money, and took his stupid prize for the stupid games he was playing, and he walked away, a couple of 10s to 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, 60s, 70, maybe even $100 million richer than he was going into the ring. But that being said, there were also other fights. Shout out to my guy Anderson the Spider Silva, showing age ain't nothing but a number. Let me tell you something, man. Anderson Silva he's the kung fu master, bro. He's one with the chi. He's one with the universe, bro. He moves like water. You know what I'm saying? He is what Bruce Lee is talking about. He's the quintessential warrior. You know what I'm saying? The kung fu warrior. And Tyron Woodley, brother, salute to Tyron Woodley, man. But you need to find another way to make some money, brother. That's not this going to the shadow realm for $1 or $2 million every time you need some money. You go and you put your chin out there to go get put to sleep in front of everybody. That's going to get old, bro. Not only is it going to get old for the fans, but it's going to get old for you, because eventually that's going to start turning into some CTE or something. But Anderson Silva, I told you, though, I told you, Reyes was really. You were worried about.
I was worried
about
him because I love Anderson Silva. He is, in my book, he's top 3 of the greatest ever to do it in MMA.
Right.
He is the same age as me, Clay, and I'm not getting in no octagon with no Tyrone Woodley. You know what I'm saying? So, so I mean, shout out to the legend that he continues to want to do it. But this is not a game we play, as Tyrone Woodley found out, as he smashed his face on the floor after getting knocked out by a 50-year-old. I'm just saying, it's not a game we play. And like to your point, maybe it is time for Tyrone Woodley. How many concussions can you take, man? How many of these can you do, right?
That's going to be bad. In a minute, you're going to be stuttering, brother. I just want to be honest with you. You got to chill.
Right. So would I much rather have Anderson Silva in movies or something? Yes, right? But he loves to fight. He is the 50-year-old Bruce Lee we love watching right now. And as long as he's staying safe, man, I'll always be rooting for him. But I am worried. 50 goes to 60, 50, it gets 50. Close, you know. So
it is 50 is 50, man. But shout out to Anderson Silva, and of course we had the ladies of the night as far as Sweet Caroline Dubois and Alicia Baumgartner both had their fights. We can talk about which fight, how they looked in the fights, and maybe start talking about what they look like with each other in the ring. Shout out to my brother. Oh, I see my brother in the back. Ray motherfucking Davis in the building. Salute, Ray. Was good though, man. As I'm bringing up the usual suspects, you're definitely muted or something.
Yeah, I did. I had it on mute. I was on the phone.
Okay.
Just in case you brought me up. Yeah, man. What's good? What's good with y'all?
Doing good.
Hear y'all building.
Yeah. For sure, man. We're going to talk about it a little bit tonight. We got some people in the back too. Kai, I see you. Literary Pharaoh, you'll be up here in a minute. Let's just open up the show properly. Let my brother Ray cook a little bit and figure out what's on his mind, how he felt about what happened last night. And you guys will be up here in a minute because really tonight's show, that's what it's about, man. It's not about, we're not talking so much about boxing tonight, about different things going on as much as recapping what happened last night. And I'm interested in what the community thought about the fight last night and what I'm also interested, guys, in going into the fight, what we thought was going to happen. I really emphasized here on the show as I was talking to you guys, I wanted to know what it would look like for Jake Paul to be effective in that ring last night. And also I was interested in how was Anthony Joshua going to knock Jake Paul out? What was presumed was going to be Anthony Joshua's mission, and how was he going to execute, being that this guy is a big 6'6" guy. He's athletic for the division he's in, but ultimately I thought there was going to be some issues with his ability to cut the ring off, move, and keep up with Jake Paul to the point to where he can land the kill shot. There were opportunities in here where even Reyes felt like there may be some opportunities where he could have pulled the trigger, but as you stated, the 22 by 20 foot size ring, it's very difficult to fight somebody who does not want to engage you, whose mission is to not engage you. We saw Bozy Ennis talk about it with Boots Ennis, right? I mean, talk about it when Boots fought Karen and say, listen, when somebody doesn't want to fight you, you can't do anything about it. And Boots caught a lot of scrutiny as well, saying you got to learn how to cut the ring off. We saw Teofimo Lopez get scrutinized for not being able to cut the ring off on Jermaine Ortiz. So going into the fight, how was Anthony Joshua supposed to do this? And also, how was Jake Paul supposed to do this? And what did that look like last night as we watched him fight? Did any of that come together last night for either one of those fighters?
I give the fight a C plus. I think Anthony Joshua was doing what he had to do. I mean, they knew the game plan. The game plan was to wear him out. It was a whole Clever Lang situation, bro. Like, let's keep it real.
Clever Lang.
You know what I mean? Like, I was laughing because I'm like, the Hulkamania thing bought I forgot what Hulk Hogan's name was in that movie. Some Sugar Lips.
Thunder Lips, bro. Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips. Okay, I was gonna say Sugar Lips or something crazy, but Thunder Lips, okay. Yeah, man. And I was like, yo, this dude is crazy, bro. He gonna really try to pull this Rocky thing off. Watch. He ran around, and he tired himself out. That's what was crazy. And eventually, Anthony Joshua did the right thing, and it looked like those movies back in the day when the bully trying to hit the kid he bullying, he just ducking out the way and chasing them all around the courtyard. I literally was laughing, but I give it a C plus because there was some action. You know what I mean? It took a little point where Jake Paul tired down, had to start throwing shots. He caught AJ with some nice shots, man. I was surprised. I think one of them even pushed Joshua back, bro, which was crazy. And I'm laughing. I say that's the one that did it, bro, because it was literally right before the knockout.
That's the one that set
That's
Joshua
the one that
off.
said, you know what? Oh, you thought this was a game? And he got him up out of there. Like he trapped him like a lion in a damn den. Oh, you done walked into the wrong part of this jungle, bro. Now I got you. That's what it
I mean,
like.
the legs definitely went away on Jake Paul, right? Like,
oh yeah.
And I think there's also, I mean, what would you say, Angelo, to the idea that he underestimated his conditioning or he overestimated his ability to continue that game plan for 8 rounds? Like, at what point were you going to get some sort of an offense going? That's a difficult thing to do, to run around a 22 by 22 foot ring for 8 rounds, right? For whatever that number adds up to, right?
Yeah, I think that again, when you look at it, and we'll do our best to stay as nice as we can when I say these statements, but the way that looked for me with Jake Paul is he knew he was going to have a bigger ring, which I didn't know until the day of. I didn't know it was going to be a 22 by 22 foot ring. And they trained for something. It certainly looked like they were, he reverted back to his wrestling days, trying to do 10 takedowns. If you guys want to see that video of somebody, I mean, and they're actual takedowns, and you guys know, I know how it looks. But somebody,
they were,
yeah,
so that was a part of it all.
He was leg tripping, like you saw him like putting the leg behind the leg. You saw him.
I mean, there were so many times where if Jake Paul was trying to really prove to the boxing aficionados, right? The people who are essentially saying he still can't box, like I was telling you, like the UK people and everything. If he wanted to prove that, then it would have been nice to see like technical slipping counter, right? Or double body shots, right? But the first body shot that Jake Paul threw, if you pay attention, I think it happened in round 1. He throws a body shot in where he hits Anthony Joshua clean, bang. And all that came back was this right hand, and you could see in Jake Paul's face. And at that point, I think that's when it started for him, where he was like, oh, this isn't like sparring Jared Anderson or Lawrence Sicole or Frank Sanchez. This MFer is a whole nother animal. Yep. And at that point, what people have to remember, and why maybe it sounds like I'm giving Anthony Joshua so much grace, Clay, but the guy hasn't been back in the ring for 15 months. That's a year and 3 months for you guys who don't understand that. Mm-hmm. Secondly, the last time he was in the ring, he got knocked down 5 times and then got knocked the F out. So there's a whole lot of psychology going on in Anthony Joshua's head getting back into the ring. And I appreciated the fact that Anthony Joshua didn't treat this like it was a game. He was genuinely trying to get the cobwebs out of his system. He was genuinely trying to understand the footing and the position of how big this ring was. So I felt like it wasn't until round 3, Ray, that Anthony Joshua was like, okay, cool, I got my rhythm. Now I'm okay with taking some chances because I got my footing down, I got my distance down. There was even a sequence, I think it was in round 2, which people are continuing to replay as a scripted thing that Joshua did, which I agree with you, Clay. This isn't scripted, man. Anthony Joshua didn't carry him. Anthony Joshua was trying to figure his rhythm out. But I think it was in the second round, you might remember this, Ray, where Joshua just kind of like in the air threw like 4 different punches, right? And it looked weird, but I knew what he was trying to do. He was like, let me just kind of see
the distance. He's gauging where he's at. He was just trying to kind of like, let me just set my sights on my gun real quick here, right? And this dude's not going to do anything. It doesn't look like he's in position to hit me anyway. So let me just figure out my sights for my sniper.
And in round 3, Ray, I believe is when this happened. Jake Paul threw his best shot, and it reminded me of the movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Peter Berg, and Damian Wayans, called The Great White Hype.
Mhm.
And in The Great White Hype, they built up Peter Berg as this character who had beaten the heavyweight champion of the world in the amateurs with an overhand right. And what happened in that movie, right? when the Great White Hype hit him with the overhand right, Peter Berg, the character, the Great White Hype, he looks at the guy and he goes, "Here comes Mr. Overhand Right," and he throws it, hits him flush, and then Damian Wayans looked at him and said, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he just starts beating the hell out of him, and it was game over. And that's kind of what you were saying, is I think it was at that point, which they're showing in memes, and you know, Clay, we love Dave Chappelle, but when Keeping It Real went wrong
when Keeping It Real definitely goes wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right there.
Jake got a lesson last night. He woke up and he saw another part of boxing. I mean, shout out to Jake, who seems like he's still wants to continue boxing, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I just hope, continue to step it up at this point. You've been in there with a big puncher. If that's not gonna derail him and move him off of his path, then I'm optimistic for him. Do your thing, man.
Yeah, the fight I want to see, because I was discussing it. Like, my son was asking me, and him understand. And my son, by the way, guys, said that now Anthony Joshua will be like pop culture famous because of also all the girl memes. Like, there's all these girls that like the girls are loving him. So he's gonna be like a superstar now. My son's like, oh yeah, Joshua's gonna be called Jawbreaker Joshua. All the girls are gonna love him. That now everybody's gonna know who Anthony Joshua is. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I'm discussing it with my wife. Well, if Jake Paul wanted to continue and he can't fight till 2027 realistically, who'd be a good fight? And you know who we all agreed on, bro? Conor McGregor. Can you imagine Conor McGregor, Jake Paul hyping it up? That would get a lot of views.
I think that would get a lot of views. I think that would be just another. Yeah, just don't. Just don't. But we'll see what he does. But just don't. Don't do that. Go at this point.
Vice versa.
Ride that. Push that momentum. Take that momentum into fighting some fights that make sense.
Right?
But we can start talking about you in a real way. Take this respect that you're getting from whoever you're getting the respect from, and do something good with it. Don't throw it in our face. Don't play with us. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Take this opportunity. You know what I'm saying, to move in a direction that we all can get behind, bro. But what about the Alicia Baumgardner fight? 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds. How did that resonate with you guys? What did you think about that? Are we ready to go into 3-minute rounds for the women? 12 rounds. Did that work out well for us as boxing fans?
I think the pacing was great. To me, at the same time, it didn't look no different besides them like not fighting as much, engaging as much, because usually they engage because they got shorter time, so you get a lot more fighting. But for her to sit back and pick her shots, evaluate the first and second round of her opponent, that was a build, and you got to watch that happen, and it looked very very professional, to say the least. You know what I mean? It didn't look amateurish. And I was like, okay, she's, she figured her out. Now she's throwing the punches, because it looked like she lost. I know she lost the first round. I ain't gonna lie to you. At least she lost that first round. But she was figuring her out, getting her cadence down. And then after that, you seen her really turn it up. I think the distance and stuff, I thought the physical aspect would take a toll. Both of them had high energy at the end of the fight. Both of them had like good stamina, to just say the least. And I thought it looked a lot better. You know what I mean? It looked a lot better. I wouldn't go 12. I mean, championship fights, I think they should just take the 12th and 11th round off and make it 10, and maybe keep if they're going to do 3-minute rounds, and go 8 for their, for their max, and then go 10 for their championships. I think 12 rounds might be a little long, because it just, if they're going to fight if the women are going to fight like that, it's going to slow down the sport for them. And if it slows it down too much, it's going to take away, because then we're not going to be interested. It's a lot of boxing fans that are really not interested in women's boxing anyway, because they feel that, the shorter rounds, this, that. Now we got the equal opportunity to have the 3-minute 12-round fight, and it was a little long. I'm not going to lie to you. It took a little long for us to for really all that to happen. I mean, the knockdown was great. That was a good thing because you got time to build up the fight, put the punches together, and caught her right at the end of the round. You know what I mean? So I thought she was going to get her again, but, that girl started putting on the pressure after the 10th. So, Boudoir, you got it right.
Boudoir.
Layla Boudoir.
But she got her opportunity then, man, and that was good. So, shout out to Alicia Baumgartner for the 3-minute 12-rounder. Again, she looked phenomenal in that display. There's some flaws.
But man, that's another conversation.
No, I mean, in terms of just how it looks for a mainstream public, right, Clay? I think especially in the United States, not so much outside the US, the audience here is just getting used to women's boxing as a sport, right? Because it never really got its fair chance. Let's not forget that what built the UFC, especially in the 2014 that time period, 2013, for the next 5 years, are the women. It was the women. It was Ronda Rousey. It was Miesha Tate, right? And when Dana took that shot and said, "Oh, I'm going to put women in there," what was exciting for just MMA fans and combat sports fans who watched it, Clay, is that the women could do everything that the men could do, right? Ronda could break your arm the same way Frank Mir could break your arm. Like, so there wasn't like a gap, right? Or Holly Holm can knock you out the same way, another. So, and I think that's where, for too long of a time outside of the U.S., for everybody like myself who do pay attention to women's boxing and does love just boxing overall as a sport, we've gotten used to women fighting 2-minute rounds, right? And that means that those athletes have also gotten used to fighting 2-minute rounds, Clay, which is why we see an action-packed fight like when we watched Valle versus Bustillos. A lot of blood, a lot of action in that fight. Or the performance of the night bonus went to Sugar Neat Johnson and Amanda Gaye, right? For the 118-pound undisputed championship. But what happened in that one? Each lady got 100,000 extra on top of their paychecks for putting on a fight of the night performance, Clay. But all the blood, right? Like because it was 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes of bah, 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 bah. So the technique was a lot more I don't want to say raw, but it was like
the door.
It was like speed. It was like speed chess rather than let's take our time to make our move chess, right? So, having said all of that, I think if we give them time, and we get used to it too, like everybody who's a casual gets used to bringing some of these more elite women to do 10 or 12 3-minute rounds, I think I'd be okay with that. Like, you know what? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, Clarissa Shields is supposed to fight Franchon Cruz coming up as a rematch, right?
Nice,
I'd love to see that as a 12 round, 3 minutes, because they're big enough to knock each other down, but also they're both experienced enough with their amateur and professional lives in the sport that they know how to do it that way. So I'd be cool with something like that. But if you're bringing in someone new, Clay, or and I agree with Ray on this one, like the smaller women, like, do I really want to see Gabriela Fundura do 12 rounds, 3 minutes when I'm already seeing her knock people out in 10 2-minute rounds? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I think we're still going to play with it, but Alicia herself looked good. Layla looked like what she was, a contender that made it look good. So shout out to you, Alicia. But I'm gonna tell you right now, girl, you might want to stay away from Sweet Caroline.
Crazy.
I was gonna tell you right now. You might want to stay away.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Hold up now. We're gonna talk about Caroline as well in a minute. And I'm with you, Ray. I think he thinks shit is sweet. You know what I'm saying, with Alicia. I like Caroline. Caroline I'm a Caroline Dubois fan, but yo, ain't nothing sweet about Alicia, man. She's sharp. Short punches, super athletic. You can see the IQ and the pedigrees there. And I'm be honest with you, I think she's gelling with Derek. I think her and Derek are actually gelling well with each other. So I'm expecting better from them in the future. But listen, man, I agree with you guys 100% about the 3-minute rounds and the 12 rounds. These females, if you're going to do something like that, you got to be able to deliver on the entertainment. And if you're going to have a hard time doing that, then you're going to drag us into some murky, muddy waters, and you could lose a lot of us, where you could be gaining a lot of us with those 2-minute rounds, right? Where the females are just kind of putting it all out there. So it's going to be the style. But I would say this, though, in the spirit of the evolution of female boxing, yeah, I think they should start embracing these 3-minute rounds. You know what I'm saying? And I think females, I think Layla Boudoir, what her name was, she had to adjust, and Alicia had to adjust to the time they had, right? And be patient, but at the same time, you're going to be patient, but also find that timing as soon as you can and push the action. Make the fight a good fight. And I think those were great moments in that fight. I thought Alicia Baumgartner's timing is great, man. She gets to reading you. If you're not going to be, you can't just be doing the same thing over and over again. Very sharp, you know what I'm saying? Cerebral fighter Alicia is, and she reads stuff and starts to catch you, and the timing starts to look like speed, but it's really just great timing. And she starts to connect. She was connecting with those right hands all of a sudden, catching her on the coming in there, doing a great job of getting her head off the line when she was letting that right hand go. So because she's throwing her right hand, Layla's coming back with hers at the same time. Layla needs to tighten up and shorten up on her punches a little bit. They get a little wide, and when you're fighting against those sharp shooters or snipers, it can get bad for you. You know what I'm saying? Like a Caroline Dubois, for example, them straight punchers who punch, straight from their shoulders, and they also great at positioning their feet, keeping that front left foot on the outside of Layla's right foot. So the distance between that right hand and Layla Boudoir's chin wasn't that far at all. So it was real easy for her to snap, get back defensive, roll, you know what I'm saying? Roll under there, turn her, do whatever she wanted to do. It was a lot of science going on, and I love those kind of fights, right? Shout out to the prospect, Jamal Harvey. I think I could see myself being a fanatic of him. I like what he's doing.
He looked good. He looked good. 130 pounds. He's in the same. He's in that little circle of the Zaquin Moseses and the Carmel Motons, and Jamal Harvey's a 2024 Olympian. Like to your point, Clay, that was his second fight. He was fighting a guy who also had about 90 amateur fights, 5-0 with 5 knockouts. And even though Cervantes looked like he was the smaller guy moving up, at the end of the day, technically speaking, Jamal Harvey did what he was supposed to do. And it was a good challenge. I don't know if I want to see him in that many tough fights. I mean, he looked good, but do we want to push him like Jaleel Hackett, or do we want to take a step back? I don't know. That's up to his team. How they want to
take a step back with a performance like that. Now, I'm not saying I agree with you though. This is listen, when you got a fighter like that, you want to handle him right. Like if you're managing a Jamal Harvey showing you all that promise, you want to manage him correctly. You want to move him accordingly so you can get him where he needs to be, but you don't want to get him there before he needs to be there, because he can get exposed if the level switches up high too much, no matter how promising he's looking. I mean, we got to be honest about the opponent. 5 wins, 5 knockouts, 0 defeats. It's a great on paper, but at the end of the day, that was also a prospect, right? That guy wasn't, top contender. So what he did with him, he got, what was it, 10 rounds? Was it 10 rounds or 6 rounds?
I know, it was a 6-rounder.
Yeah.
It was a 6-rounder.
It was 6 good rounds in for somebody coming into a fight 1-0. You want to get those rounds in. I feel bad sometimes for those savant prospects who come into the space and is knocking everybody out inside of a round or two. They never get those reps in. He got a chance to go ahead and do that. That was a great job by the matchmaker to put him in there with somebody durable, right? And somebody who's going to push the pace on him and force him to work. And he had to work. We saw him switch, right? We saw him going back and forth. I love prospects who attack the body, bro. Whenever I see a prospect work the body that way, my antennas go up. I want to see more. Whenever I see that, Zaquin Moses does that. Carmel Morton does that. These guys are so notorious for stabbing to the body.
Abdullah Mason was doing that. Remember?
Yeah. That's just a sign of like patience, poise, and it's, to me, it's like a sign of maturity, right? You see that, you're like, oh, look at the young bull with the patience, you know what I'm saying, to stab the body, even though when he had him hurt, a lot of times he didn't get too hook crazy. He wasn't headhunting trying to get him out. He had his moments though. He had his moments where he got a little excited, but for the most part, he was able to dial it in and stay patient. I'm optimistic and excited to see where they go from here. But yeah, the matchmaking is going to be important for this kid, man, because he's obviously got the ability to get these opponents out of there very quickly. But at the same time, you gotta find him rounds. You look at Moses Atama right now, they're having a hard time getting him rounds, right? Like getting that guy rounds is a difficult task. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're screaming for him to get in the ring with Alexander Usyk. It's like, wait for what, bro? He's cleaning everybody up, but he doesn't got the rounds. Hey, bro, what you want me to tell you? He better go find some rounds, because now there's a demand for him to go there and become a champion. And he's still a young guy, and that happens to a lot of these guys. Jalil Hackett also falls in underneath that same category. So you got to get the matchmaking right. Caroline Dubois puts on her American debut, steps up into the American space, bro. And what'd you guys think of it? Same card as Alicia Baumgardner. How did you feel about the performance, and how do you feel about future fights for her? And also at the end of the fight, I don't know if you guys noticed, she didn't go for Alicia Baumgardner's neck. She was very. Well,
she's British, bro. She's British.
I feel you.
That's how they are.
She specifically answered and said, maybe not next. I think we can build this up for it to be a bigger fight. She said, not on the skills. She said, skills-wise, I know I can compete, but she was very honest to say that the timing wasn't right for the
star
fight.
Power-wise.
She wanted to build up the value of the fight. But what'd you think of the performance? Ray, what'd you think of the performance?
I thought it was a great performance. Believe it or not, I'm gonna give her fight of the night, bro, because she dominated and she did it right. Believe it or not, she was very sharp. She dominated the fighter in front of her. She used every angle. She took her time. She didn't even rush anything. She wasn't like, you know how we talking about 2-minute rounds and these women like we watching
Sugar
Valley or
Costa
watching
Valley.
the other fights. She didn't rush none of that action. She just took it to her opponent. She gave her nice the chip shots, you know what I mean, and did what she had to do. She dominated that fight, and her opponent was not to me in the same atmosphere at all. I think it was a light touch for her to come over here and fight this person, the person she fought, for her to display on who she is, because you always got to put people on the mat. Right. And I think it was a great look, and she was right. Let me show you what I can do, and then you show me what you can do, and then we'll let the people judge. So definitely a better performance than Alicia on paper. But as far as I think the opponents, I think styles make fights, and also the opponent caliber is different. You can see it. Only thing that bothers me we'll get to that point. I know we'll talk about them two fighting in a second, so we'll wait.
Exactly. One step at a time, man. What do you think about our girl Caroline, man? What do you think about
Clay, that I love Caroline Dubois, man, and I know you do too. But she was a part of the GB amateur team,
heart, bro.
Right? Yeah. But she was a part of the Great Britain amateur team. She signed that contract, went into doing her amateur career there, which is why she already had her following in the UK. She's the little sister of Daniel Dubois, but as you guys know, you Clay and you Ray know that Carolyn is estranged with her family. She doesn't talk to her dad. She doesn't talk to her brother, right? Like she's doing her own thing with Shane McGuigan, the son of Barry McGuigan, the former legend and world champion. So the fact that she's done that on her own and kind of crafted her career on her own, and she's getting so much massive respect, and she's only 24 years old right now, man. I think I look at her the same way I look at Abdullah Mason. I'm like, hey, how far can we take this? Because you're 24 now, 10 years from now, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a future 160 champion, 154 champion? Because right now you're a 135 champion, but you could see her body and her frame, Clay. If Clarissa can go from 154 to heavyweight, then why couldn't Caroline Dubois go from 135 to 154, right? Like we could see that. We already watched Michaela Mayer do it, right? Michaela Mayer, when she fought Alicia, they were both at 130. Michaela Mayer right now is the 154 champion. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm looking forward to the future of that. I'm looking forward to seeing her and all the youngsters, right? Ellie Scottney, Fran Hennessy, Tia May Ayton. Like there's these young women who know how to bang, who know how to get knockdowns, that are all very exciting, that are coming up. You guys saw that Carolyn Dubois, when she fired that check hook,
yes,
that looked like Floyd hitting Ricky Hatton, man. I was like, that was smooth. That's just boxing. You weren't thinking women's boxing or men's boxing. You were just thinking, no, that's what it's supposed to look like. Beautiful. Good job. Right? Great contact balance. So yeah, and again, when I say I want to be fair to Alicia Baumgartner, that currently right now she's the best 130-pound fighter in the world. Carolyn Dubois, bro, is at 135, man. It's two different divisions, all right? And in Carolyn Dubois' division, you have Terry Harper, who's the WBO champion. You have Stephanie Hahn, who's the WBA champion, that's about to defend against Holly Holm on January 3rd on the undercard of Amanda Serrano, right? And then you have the Beterbiev of the 135 women's, Clay, Elif Nur Turhan, who knocks everyone out, and she's with Matchroom. And Elif Nur Turhan, just because we're in the Alicia subject, is also the WBA interim 130-pound champion. So she's the 130 interim champion, and she's the 135 IBF world champion, because she knocked the hell out of Beatrice Pereira just 2 weeks ago, Ray Davis, on a Matchroom boxing card. So that's the girl that I keep saying, if I want to see Alicia defend, I'd like to see her fight that girl, because I think those two styles would be great. Power punching machine versus a smooth technical boxer with good snap and power. And let's see that in a 12 3-minute round for Alicia Baumgartner. But nah, Clay, I just got to tell you, bro, you got to tell your girl Alicia to just stay at 130. Just stay, relax.
No, listen. I think at the end of the night, though, and we can go into that part of the conversation as well. But as far as and I'm very interested. Obviously, I'm always interested in your guys' opinion on this. But who looked better? Who looked more well-rounded? Who was the more complete fighter on the eyes last night between both ladies?
Yeah, I like Dubois. I'm gonna say Dubois for me. Beautiful check. Although Alicia did get that nice counter right at the end of, I think, round 6 also. Yeah. And she was fighting a more seasoned contender in Layla than Carolyn was fighting in Panata from Italy. But again, if we're just talking the way it looks, the eye test, contact balance, technique, I like Carolyn, man. I mean, the way Carolyn works the body looks clean. The way she throws uppercuts, both the backhand and the front hand, looks clean. You know what I mean? Right? Just if I'm going eye test, if you're asking me, Clay, which body of the car I like better, I like Carolyn Dubois' car a lot better than I liked Alicia's car.
Do you think that the opponents played a big role? In other words, who had the more competitive opponent? Who had the more game opponent in front of them?
No, that's true. Although I am still holding it against Alicia the way she looked against Jennifer Miranda, because if Carolyn fought Jennifer Miranda, I think Carolyn would have put her away. And that's where I'm kind of like, you got a 40-year-old in front of you, Alicia. Why didn't we see whatever the reason is, you didn't look as good. So I'm merely answering your question, Claymore. You're asking me which one looks better. To me, I think Carolyn looks better.
Yeah, I think the stage was set great for Caroline to look good. You know what I mean? I think Alicia had a game opponent in front of her. But go ahead, Ray, because I know you. Hold on, let me just get this.
Yeah, take your super chat.
Yeah, Pop Shot talk in the building. Shout out to Pop Shop. Says, man, what do you guys think of Jamal Harvey? We talked about him just a few minutes ago. He said he gave me shades of Bud Crawford. I like it. I'd say fast track the bull. Who'd you like to see him in the fight next? I don't know about fast tracking him, but I get to why you want to see him fast track. But But we talked about him already. I don't know if we need to go over it again, man. Very promising, but he's got to be molded. He has to be developed, and that's what it's all about with these fighters. Promising. We're definitely next time we see Jamal Harvey's name pop up somewhere, we'll turn it on.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, he did that. Sure. He did that, right? He got us. He got us there. Next time he comes up, but man, step by step, man. I don't know who he needs to fight next. Remember, guys, 2-0-1 knockout. Forget about that one performance and how it mesmerized you. 2-0-1 knockout. That's the reality of the situation. I'm saying. That's the reality. Everything else is great. We can get excited as much as we want, but if we take away all that, 2-0, man, let's not talk about him doing nothing crazy until at least, in my opinion, 10 fights into his career. And even then, let's revisit it and see how we feel about then as well. But Ray, man, look, Caroline, Alicia Baumgardner, who looked better, more well-rounded. Talk to me.
I'm going to say those are two different answers. So the more well-rounded fighter was definitely Caroline Dubois. Caroline Dubois.
Sweet Caroline.
And there was a reason why she was more well-rounded is because she was a seasoned fighter against her opponent. I think her opponent was not her size, undersized, and was able to be wasn't even on the level of why we share in this ring together. Definitely wasn't on the level. Professional enough though to be in the ring. I'll give her that. When we look on the other side of the street, who looked better, I think Alicia looked better because she fought like Angel just said, the more game fighter, right? And not only was that fighter game, that was a bigger fighter, right? And then coming off the Miranda fight, Miranda set her up for it was a good setup for this fight because Miranda, a lot of people didn't realize, was also a bigger fighter and a much muscular fighter, more intimidating fighter to Alicia Baumgardner. And I think that played a factor in that press conference. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that face-to-face, rub nose to nose, who's stronger, who's got more muscles, whatever they were doing, that played a big part in that fight. And I think it showed in that ring for her to pull that off that way. Miranda getting dropped and KO'd by what's the name? I don't know that. I think she is a game fighter. I think she's strong. I think she has a good jab and she showed that she can fight. It'd be a good way to see the display of both of her and Caroline going together if we're going to do that. But I don't believe in triangle theories. So I do think if them two, we'll get to that point. But I think if you're going by who look better to, what was more catered to, I'm going to say,
I know you want to say it. Just say it, Ray.
I had a weaker opponent, dude, and she was the bigger fighter in that
fight. I'm in complete agreement with Ray, man. I'm definitely.
She was the bigger fighter in that fight, man. Like she had the reach advantage and everything. She was just picking her apart. Alicia was on the other side of the street. She had the bigger, longer ranger fighter in front of her, and she was able to adjust and get inside and hit her. Had her face looking like a damn heartbeat by the third round, bro. Like, I'm sorry, man.
But Ray, let me make it easier for you though, right? If Caroline Dubois fought Layla Boudouin last night, how do you think it would have ended up?
Well, it'll probably be similar in size. I mean, I think Caroline still wins, but again, we're triangle theorying, right?
Right, so exactly. I agree. That's
not really going to give me a judge on the two competitors. Perfect example is we had Ryan Garcia fight Devin Haney. We had Gervonta Davis fight Devin Haney. One had a weight clause, one had a weight over clause. So, you know what I mean? We can't really compare the two and be like, oh, well, this Ryan would have beat Tank or this Ryan would have lost to Devin. Like, we can't do that because they're two different scenarios, two different fights, two different stages of his life. Like, he learned a lesson, I think, in that Tank fight anyway. So, you know what I mean? It's just you can't put triangle theories together. You really can't. It's hard.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with your assessment too. I think that, I got to be honest. And like I said, I'm a Caroline Dubois fan. I do favor Caroline Dubois to beat Alicia Baumgardner, I think, when they get in the ring. That's who I favor. I think it's a close fight, damn near 50-50. Alicia Baumgardner is a great boxer, man. One of the best pound for pound boxers in the female space right now, in my opinion. She's definitely top 5, right, in my opinion. At the end of the day, though, we got to judge it for what we saw. I think Caroline did have the opponent that was supposed to introduce her to MVP and help put her in the make the conversation between her and Alicia Baumgardner make real sense for people who weren't in America familiar with Caroline Dubois. So they put her in the ring with somebody who's going to give her those looks, and she took full advantage of it. She outclassed her. She looked real clean, you know what I mean, and very fundamentally sound. Alicia Baumgardner, in my opinion, had the more game opponent. I mean, going into that fight, even you, Reyes, right?
Oh,
you
yeah.
was
No,
like,
Layla was trying.
You were like, yo, it's this girl F around and derail some shit. Alicia better be on her fucking A game. And there was a reason for it, right? We know what she was capable of. She was super sturdy. I mean, she took a lot of punishment, didn't fade away, turned up
in the later rounds.
In the later rounds, right? So that being said, 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds, Alicia Baumgardner had the more uphill battle. You know what I mean? She had the real challenger in front of her, and she looked good as well last night. She looked real good, but did she look as good as Caroline last night? I'll say truthfully, no, she didn't, but I think we have to take in consideration the opponent as well as the circumstances. How does that translate now into both of these ladies fighting each other based off what we saw last night? I'm actually going to start this one back at Ray, because I know Ray, Ray's going in a certain direction with this. Funny, and I ain't mad at Ray, because listen, man, we got to call it how you see it. We got to call it how we see it.
Caroline, and I'm glad he put it in the super chat, right? She isn't ready, bro. She has some flaws. Like, I seen them, and I'm like, you have a person that, and I'm pretty sure they're about the same amount in probably fight career or whatever, but you can see the difference between fighting a high level of competition for quite some time and someone who's been fighting someone that's just been, hey, man, I'm getting into this. You know what I mean? I'm winning. Okay, you gave me a belt because this lady vacated, and I was just happened to be the best one next to her. Like, I can see it. But Caroline, I watch. She has twitches. She does things. She got this. She has a really, really weird head tucked into her shoulders, and she has a weird way she throws. I picked that up.
I think that was very English of her. Like, the English people do
that.
Right.
But I picked that up. British style, I picked up the way she was throwing. I'm like, yo, if Alicia Baumgardner picks this up, it's a long night for Caroline Dubois. Definitely a long night, because it's like, even though there's straight punches, there's she leaves herself open to it in a lot of spots. I was looking at that. I'm like, if she fought somebody that was just faster, like if she fought Serrano picked that up quick. Now to make an interesting fight, because Serrano's older, no disrespect to her, but she's a more seasoned fighter, and I think she's a little bit sharper. And if she picked that up, she might make it really tough for Caroline Dubois. Like, I'm talking about really tough, because you can see that. Now, put that in Baumgardner's position. Baumgardner's issue is she seems like a daisical at times. Like, even though she's studying, she's very cerebral and she's studying, she doesn't take the lead. And I think she waits to take the lead to see what her opponent's going to do. And I think she's doing it a little too long, and that could be catastrophic for her with a Caroline Dubois. Because while she's sitting there evaluating, Caroline's not evaluating. She's coming for action, and Alicia has to be on her A game, and it's going to force her to defend herself instead of being offensive. So, if we had the perfect world, perfect scenario, both of them at their top, at their offenses and getting in the ring, I kind of see Alicia winning this fight based on skill set and cerebral knowledge, whereas
experience too, right?
Yeah, I think that plays a bigger part into this. We've already seen this with other fighters, where we've seen fighters that we don't think are going to win, and they get into these matchups, and we call them out on their last fights and not really calibrating the opponent and things like that. And boom, here we go. It's not the opponent. It's the action. It's the Tiafimo. I fight the better opponent. I fight better on that stage. I fight a mediocre opponent, I fight their fight on that stage. You can see that, and I think that's what we're going to get. Now, Derek James is going to be the play in this because I think he's changed her so much. Yes, they're gelling, but she's almost looking like Earl Spence in there, and she's like sitting there with the high guard, and she's like this, and I'm like, oh,
I agree with you on that.
I was like,
I agree with you on that.
That's going, yeah, that's going to be.
I think
it makes me hesitant.
But I don't know if that's a good thing for her getting in the ring. See, when you're dealing with the Caroline Dubois, you're dealing with the pedigree. You're dealing with, you need to be able to adjust.
Right.
And Derek James has a habit of turning his fighters one-dimensional or two-dimensional, and that can become dangerous when you get in the rings with the Caroline Dubois, who probably can change it up and switch it up. Now, let me read this super chat real quick, and then I'm going to send it to you, Reyes. Pop Shot Talk 73 salute with the $20 says the reason we can put the Caroline Baumgardner on pause is because Caroline says she's not ready. Even though she said she mean the buildup, I feel she doesn't feel she's ready. If a fighter doesn't say, I want you next, they're not ready. I want to expand on that just a little bit to say that, and that's the question that's going to come up as well. Is although Caroline did make sense of it, I understand what she said about the buildup. Look, man, you take, if the fight is there, take it if you think you're ready to take it. But at the same time, Alicia Baumgardner was like, hey, man, we could line her up next. You can take a moment to answer this, Reyes, as well. But I'm wondering, does Alicia Baumgardner pick up on that, smell the blood in the water, and just go ahead and snatch her up right now and get her out? Or does she allow a Caroline Dubois to get better? You know what I'm saying? And take her letter. How does she approach it?
No, and that's a very good point, because Carolyn just signed with MVP, right? And if Jake Paul's goal is to make Alicia Baumgardner the new face of women's boxing for the United States, because Amanda Serrano's on her way out, in all honesty, if you want a Caroline Dubois fight to happen in where Alicia can have some advantages, do it next. I would do it just like Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather, man. Do it right now. Because if you allow this 24-year-old Caroline Dubois, again, and I'm talking women's boxing in where I follow it closely, Ray. Like I told you, Bustillos was going to be harder than people thought. You know, I follow it extremely closely. Lightweights, heavyweights. In my past, I'd worked with them, so I'm telling you, I know what I speak of when I say these things. With Carolyn, if I'm the one that's matchmaking, if I'm Mike Lenardi and Nikisa, and I say to Carolyn right now, hey, Terry Harper, we have her too. She's the WBO champ. Would you like to fight her next? Or would you like to wait and see who the winner of Stephanie Hahn versus Holly Holm is January 23rd, and you fight that lady next, WBA? Carolyn would say yes to either one of those girls. And I'll also say Carolyn will now prove to you, Ray Davis, how good she really is. Because Carolyn, every time, man, she always steps up her game depending on the competition. That's a little bit of a problem, too, is I think that if the competition last night was this is for a unification, you might have seen Carolyn try to put someone away rather than kind of, because she fought a Korean girl. When she fought Jessica Kamara, right, over in the UK in an all-women's match, she was trying to put Kamara away. There was blood in that fight, right? Like, that's what I'm saying is, so the best thing really, Clay, saying that is, if I'm on the other side and I'm like, all right, Alicia, do you really want to fight Carolyn, or would you just like to make some money and then take your chances later if you really want to fight her? The fight for Alicia Baumgardner so she could be the next is like a passing of the torch fight with Amanda Serrano. I mean, that's really what you need to do. Right? Like I can't sell Netflix on an Alicia Baumgardner even title defense again, right? Like I've been co-main eventing you, but you want to be a main event. In order for me to make you a main event, we got to look at main event names. Katie Taylor's not going to fight you. You're way too small unless you want to go all the way up to 140. Michaela Mayer's long and gone. She's already at 154. And in this 130 range, there isn't really much, but Serrano's went back down to 126. Serrano is still the bigger name we're pushing. If Amanda's cool with it, since she owns part of MVP, then we can do that fight. Other than that, man, Alicia, she needs that dance partner to test her, Clay. Like she needs, because she's already beaten, if you guys understand how women's boxing trajectories happen, Alicia Baumgartner's biggest claim to fame that kind of started her trajectory in it is when she beat Terry Harper. Now, if you pay attention to women's boxing, Terry Harper is one of the legends of the sport, and where this woman has been moving up and down in weight like Serrano, but she's in the UK side of the world. So everybody in the UK loves Terry Harper, right? When Alicia beat her for 130, then you saw the Michaela Mayer fight, which was close, and on and on and on, right? Terry Harper right now is 135, Clay. So if you make Terry Harper versus Caroline Dubois to unify the WBC and the WBA, and Carolyn Ray Davis destroys Terry Harper, you're going to come back on the show and tell me, Angelo, you might be right. Carolyn might be a little too much for Alicia Baumgartner. So I'm with you on this, Clay. If you're going to do it now. If you do it later, I'm telling you, man, stay away.
I think Caroline gets better, unfortunately, for Alicia Baumgartner. And I think if the collision is going to happen, I say sooner rather than later, because I think Caroline continues to develop, take 135 by storm. I don't see Caroline coming down in weight too. I think that's what it is for Caroline as well. I think when she said that, it's more like, yeah, right now she has the leverage and she's going to want to pull me down to 130. I don't need that really, to come down to 130. I want to make it make sense for her to come up to 135. I collect these belts. I become a bigger champion. I build my reputation in the space a little bit more. She can take her time doing what she's going to want to do. But ultimately, I'm going to bet on Alicia Baumgartner wanting to continue her legacy. And I think giving her a unified, if not even an undisputed opportunity at 135 is going to make it very hard for Alicia Baumgartner not to take that opportunity and fight. Her and Caroline will just get better. Now, as far as Alicia Baumgartner, strategy, right? Let's make sense of it. Let's move accordingly. How are we going to do this? Where's this fight going to happen? Does Alicia go ahead and organize an offer to be sent out to Caroline Dubois to come down to 130, be the one to set the precedent, set the stage, force Caroline Dubois to either take the fight, cut the weight, and put her in a space where she has the advantage, or Caroline can pass on the fight and say, I don't want to come down in weight. Now the whole entire conversation can change. The narrative can be, you see, she don't really want to fight me. She didn't make the move. You can start pushing that narrative, and we can start winning this narrative game, right? It can become very interesting if Alicia Baumgartner puts her best foot forward. I'll be interested in seeing how they play it out either way, right? Either way. What else happened on the night? Shanika
100,000, man. 100,000 for both Shanika and Amanda Gaye. Very bloody fight. That one was super bloody. And Shanika, she's liked outside of the ring for the obvious reasons. Like, right. she's like that, but she's good inside the ring, man. She comes in head forward, throws a lot of punches. She's kind of like I don't know, man, almost like a Timothy Bradley. You know what I mean? Like she just throws a lot of punches and just comes forward, maybe like a Sean Porter almost, right? Like that, like coming forward, throwing a lot of punches at 118 pounds. So that, they both, I mean, that's pretty cool because Clay, I don't know how much each fighter got paid for their actual fight, right? But to get an extra $100,000, bro, each, that's pretty cool, right? Like 100 G's is nothing to shake a stick at, man. So, that's pretty cool. I thought that was cool. And that was fun. And then Avius Griffin, congratulations to Coach
wait.
Bermudez.
Let's stay on Shanika for a second.
Okay, all right.
Ray, did you watch that fight? I mean, what do you think about
that's the one I kind of got pulled away from, but yes, I did. I watched it for the most part, and I thought she had an uphill battle in that fight. I mean, I didn't realize how big her opponent was. Like her opponent was Gabrielle Fedora big, bro. And I was like, yo, she's actually boxing with this girl who got range, and she's comboing. You know what I mean? Like it looked bad if you don't know what you're looking at, but you could see the action taken and the way she was handling it. It was she's a fighter, bro. And I tell you, skills pay the bills. And Shanika got skills, man. She's got skills, and she's right up there with her constituents as champions. And listen, man, I don't watch all these girls fight pretty much on this card, and I could tell you, man, it was really some good action, man. I promise you, it was nice.
Yeah,
It was a good.
Shanika needs to, like, she's doing that head, the way she comes in, it's just causing a lot of head collisions. So I mean, I'd like to see her tone that down a little bit. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, action packed, man. She lets it go, man. She takes full advantage of that full 2 minutes that she has, bro. She gets the best out of that damn 2 minutes, and she makes an argument for why you want to see the females continue to fight 2-minute rounds. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want that to go away, right? You don't want that to go away, and that could be interesting. But yeah, you about to bring it up. ABS Griffin was another fight on the card that I think deserves some attention. ABS Griffin coming off of his last fight against Julian Rodriguez, I believe it was. Took that
he
loss.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw ABS make a switch in his team, right? We saw him go from working with Bomac and making it a new unit. Hold on a second. What is going on here, bro? What is this? Why do you guys always got to make this difficult? What is this? Hold on a second. Okay, we're good. I don't know why this is happening right now. This is so weird. Why is this happening?
Because ads, bro. The ads suck.
My mouse is doing something now when I'm trying to scroll up and down. It's making the screen bigger and smaller. It's doing something weird. Computers are just so like that. Let's see if it works. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
on that Apple computer.
Yeah, nah, I don't know. It's just farting, bro. It's just farting. It's confused and it doesn't know how to handle it. Okay, I think I might have got it fixed. Okay, good. We're good to go now. Yeah, Julian Rodriguez, you know what I'm saying? And we saw him get stopped in that fight. What was it, the 8th round? Or was it
he got knocked out out of the ring and stuff.
10th round, the final round, right?
Yeah,
right.
Julian Rodriguez was able to bring it together full circle. And he separates from Bomac. I always go into these type of fights nervous when I see fighters move the way ABS did as far as leaving Bomac. I don't like leaving a trainer at the end of a loss and then jumping into a whole nother situation, because it makes me wonder if you're taking any real accountability as to what happened in that ring. If you're putting it all on the trainers, like if I had a different trainer, it wouldn't have happened that way. But he jumps in there with a good friend to the channel, Coach Hector Bermudez. They work with each other and they go into this fight. And listen, man, that might be, I mean, that goes into something of the night, right? Something of the night, as he put belt to ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to the opponent he had in Justin Cardona, who clearly wasn't ready for the situation. Interested in what you guys thought about the situation, and also is that a sign of him and Coach Bermudez being a good team, or was that no real time to really see anything develop to make a decision one way or the other? We can go with Ray on this one.
I think he's always been the fighter he was, and like Coach Bermudez said, you know what I mean, he can unlock things that the fighter does that he needs, you know what I mean, connecting those weaknesses. And who's to say that Bomac wasn't happy with his performance in the way he fought with Julian Rodriguez and pushed him out the window? You know what I mean? Like, hey man, listen, I don't like what you were doing. You weren't listening. If you're gonna, you had a bad camp. I tried telling you, you being, you know what I mean? I think it's best we part ways. So it could have been the other way around. We don't know that. All we know is he found Coach Bermudez, who we've seen in the ring, smiling and happy, coming from Japan, crazy, and watching his fighter get the stoppage was crazy. And the way he folded that dude up was even more. Yeah, I was like, yo, this dude got
extra for the roll, right? He gave him a to-go plate.
Bro, I was like, yo, as soon as he hit him with that one hook, and then he hit him with the straight, knocked him backwards, and then I said, yo, this guy, and it was crazy because when you watch the replay, he did Antonio Tarver. He closed his eyes and swung for what was in front of him, and he connected, and then he followed up with it. So it was cool, man, to see all that at the same time. Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do with Coach Bermudez, man.
for us to figure that out. You think? I mean, it was a great performance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was.
Great performance by AMIDST. But like I said, my question is the things I was nervous about going into that fight, trying to figure out what that was going to look like going in there with the new trainer. Did I walk away like, okay, he's good, or was there not even enough time to really see that come together one way or the other? What'd you think, Angelo?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like that he knocked out a guy that was wearing a Raider hat coming in to the ring. I thought that the young man was going to give it a lot. I mean, he got caught. Is what happened. Avius Griffin caught him, and in that weight class, if you get caught, he was. It was a good knockout. Good job, Avius. But I'm a little bit more with you guys on this. Like, can I see Coach Hector Bermudez get Avius to the level of where he, of where his potential could be, right? Like, where can his potential really grow? Because this is a young man who's got almost 20 fights already. How close are we to seeing him for even like a regional belt, like or something? So we'll see. We'll see. I like Avius Griffin though. I like his story. I like his comeback story. I think that's similar between him and Hector Bermudez. The whole prison stint and whatnot. So yeah, I'm definitely rooting for him. I want to see him do well. But yeah, he got a knockout. Got a knockout against a guy who's a Raider.
It's hard to make a lot of it, right? It's hard to make a lot of it at the end of the day, right?
Right. I think he needs, and if I could say another thing, I think his best, if he's going to continue, in my opinion, his move needs to go to 154. I think he's a tall fighter. He's a bigger fighter. I think his power will be displayed more, and I think his boxing will match up better with some of the brutality up there, where he'll be able to capitalize on his skill sets. I think him being in the small divisions, he could run into a problem with some of the swifter, quicker fighters. If he's not catching them, like he caught dude last night with a blind swing, he's going to be in for long nights with these guys, and I think it's going to hurt him in the long run. So I think him moving to 154 might even be a better move for him. It'll put him in a caliber of, and I hate to say this, of running into a Boots Ennis and making a good fight. Like he will be that guy to do so. I think like Angelo was saying, like, you're 20-0 and you're sitting here over 20 fights, excuse me. You're over 20 fights and you're sitting here hitting a guy with a Raiders hat on that had no business being in the ring with you. And you still flinching because of speed and things of that nature, where you can take the advantages with your size, your height, your abilities, your power, and move to the next level, and then accomplish something there. And I think he has the tools to do it. Trust me. With 154, I think he'll be a better, much more matched fighter at 54.
Yeah. I think we got to take into consideration what you're saying, man, as far as how many fights he's into his professional career. He's 32 years old. He needs to find a home and a way to start moving in the direction of becoming a champion at some point, at least getting into the top 10 of somebody sanctioning body. You know what I'm saying? To get into that conversation. He hasn't been able to quite do that yet. I think a lot of that has to do with the matchmaking. When is he going to be ready? He just now made this move with Hector Bermudez, so I'm looking forward to see them gel. But yeah, man, I even like the idea of 154 a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a little bit more game up there, and you got a way more willing division. More dangerous, obviously. So is he ready to to fight in the hornet's nest? But listen, man, barbecue and mildew, man. You either gonna make it or it's not your time. Listen, we got over 93 people in the building between here, Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. You guys are notorious for forgetting about that damn thumbs up button. Do that right now if you haven't done it. I thank you in advance. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I'm going to put the link right now in the
we still got some people we got some people backstage still.
We had some people, but they disappeared. Ray Farrow and Kai and all those guys. I know they're waiting for a while, but if you guys want to hit the link now, we're going to open up the panel. Come on up and build. It is what it is. Hey, Pro Box had a great card.
Yo, I'm so mad I missed that at work.
That was fun. There was a double knockdown.
Yeah, man,
that was crazy.
So mad.
Yeah.
Pro Box was on point. Yo, Literary Pharaoh in the building. Salute, family. How you doing, King?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing good.
Nah, you was back there for a minute, man. I appreciate your patience, man. You know how it is. You got to get it out, get the spiel out. And I appreciate your patience, man. How you feeling, man?
I feel good. I like what you guys are presenting to the boxing space, and I think that is very critical that you guys pay attention to all the fights, because what I think that Jake Paul did, he was more of a sacrificial lamb for the greater good. His sort of, people call him a clown, but I call him a clown in terms of looking at it from a positive perspective. I call him a clown because he's a showman. He's an act. And I think that he was supposedly viewed as the America's hope, and people viewed him as being the face of American boxing, which to me gave me a very nasty taste in my mouth. But I looked at it in two ways. I said, yes, he can be viewed that way, but even though we know from a talent perspective, he's not nowhere close to a skilled fighter, but I felt like he's bringing attention to the sport. You guys just spent a segment talking about women's boxing. I never thought that in a decade ago or even 5 years ago that we would have content creators paying attention to female boxers to the magnitude that you guys have taken it to. So I think that's a plus for what Jake Paul has done for the sport. But him being knocked out yesterday, he was the sacrificial lamb. It's a broken jaw was needed. That needed to happen to recalibrate boxing back to its proper paradigm. I think that for a while, people were getting too crazy where we were drawing in too many casuals into the sport, watching it, thinking that Jake Paul is what boxing is about. And boxing is so much more than that. But boxing, he is a part of boxing. You can't say boxing without Jake Paul. But him being knocked out was the boxing gods saying enough is enough. Let's get back to our senses. And let's put boxing back to where it needs to be. Enough casuals have been drawn in. Hopefully that boxers like the Harveys of the world, these younger prospects that are coming up, hopefully that the casuals have seen the true artistry of what true pugilism is, and they can start following the skilled fighters and not the so-called quote unquote clowns that we have coming in trying to make a spectacle of the sport. However negative that may seem, I still think there's always two sides to a coin. That we can always kind of see things from the positive side, even though it seems negative on the surface. And you guys are a true example of you guys have taken what boxing has given us, but you guys have squeezed out as much nutrients as you can to make sure that we're still making it about boxing. Yes, Jake Paul was the act, but yet there's still some substance within all the things that he brought to the sport of boxing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, man. And that's what it's all about. I mean, and that is what Jake Paul does, right? Jake Paul brings the eyes to the sport. And if you're going to watch it outside of Jake Paul, you could watch Jake Paul as well, but look, there was great talent on the undercard and a lot of people for us to follow. And we're going to be interested in seeing them move through the space. Was there a standout fight on the card that you think, that caught your attention? You brought up Jamal Harvey. I can't help but, God, Jamal Harvey just looked good last night. He just was for a young 23-year-old going into a fight 1-0. I appreciate it. I was nervous going into the fight. I was like, yo, are they moving him too fast?
Yeah,
damn,
you were nervous.
Yeah, I'm like, nervous. Over there with a guy 5-0 and 5 knockouts. I'm like, damn, we're gonna build the young bull up, or what's going on? And then they put him on the opening on the main card,
the
main card. So obviously they got a lot vested in him, and they believe in him, and they think he's got future star qualities. But was there any standouts for you, Literary?
Yeah, the Harvey fight stood out to me, but I think all the cards stood out to me because I think that what makes boxing so great is the multifaceted aspects that boxing can bring. You're not going to get just one style of fight. Each fight carries its own drama and its own dilemma. And even if you're looking for something to happen and it's not happening, even that anticipatory vein that you're carrying is drawing you in. That's the intrigue. Like, you may be watching a fight that may seem boring. You're like, oh my God, what is it going to pick up? That's good because you're waiting for something to happen. So I think that all the cards were its own thing. I don't think that it was, we didn't see all out brawls. We saw tactical, things put on display. We saw Harvey use going to the body, like you said, a young fighter already knowing the importance of going to the body. He's well skilled. The Alicia fight, yeah, it was long, but I agree with Ray when he says that it allows her to actually put her full arsenal on display. She's not having to rush it. 2-minute rounds. I got to hurry up and do what I got to do to win. She can actually set up her shots, and I think that was a good fight. It had its ebbs and flows. She knocked down. I forgot how you pronounce her name.
Boudouin.
Yeah, Lura Boudouin. Yes, she knocked her down, but she was resilient. Boudouin got back up, and she fought harder during the second half of the fight. So to me, every card was special. I think that's what makes boxing great. You're not just going to get one style, and I think that people need to be very careful what they're asking for, because if you're particularly just going in for one style where you want to see people just being knocked out all the time, and granted, knockouts are great, but if that's all you're getting, it sort of dilutes the sport for the true artistry that it is, because there's so much facets to boxing. It's an intrigue, especially when you start getting to the point where you know the boxers' personal lives and you know what they're coming in with, like the baggage, the backstories. And so when you see them in the ring and you see each round play out differently, it's sort of like a movie. It starts off slow, and then you have the climax, you have the plot starting to thicken, then it starts to kind of drag down toward the end, and then the movie's over. So to me, all the cards were amazing. I think boxing is in a good space right now, and I peruse many content creators like you, Claymore Range, Showbiz the Adult. There are a lot of other boxing channels, The Boxing Voice, so on and so forth. I listen to many people, and I like the fact that people are actually talking about women's boxing, because if you can bring in the women casuals to the sport, then they're going to start bringing in their sons and their boyfriends and like their others. The women have a very strong impact in the economy. They spend more money than most men. So if women are into the sport and they're watching it, you'd be amazed to see how many people are going to, ride that train and start to watch boxing much more.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that too, Literary Pharaoh, because that was the entire thing that had happened during that period of time, where there was this window in where Showtime could have really gotten behind women's boxing. And they chose not to. It was the same year that Dana White had said, we're never going to have any women in the UFC. And then the Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate thing happened. And then he started signing them as divisions. And now when you look at the UFC from that point on, all the way to now, some of their biggest stars that have helped them get the $7.7 billion deal they just got were the women. And I believe that's why Nakisa and Jake are so involved in it. Is if no one else is willing to take this content, we're more than happy to keep giving this content to Netflix in order to keep rolling it around. And I'm right there with you, Literary Pharaoh. Yep. I think the more people get to see how action-packed and bloody and blood and guts and the women boxers are, the more they're going to be like, oh, I like Alicia Baumgartner, or oh, I like Carolyn Dubois, and plus, the women, they move a little different. Clay, I'm going to be honest, man. Like the weigh-ins look different,
a little bit, just a little bit, for sure. They're definitely carrying it a little different. They're definitely carrying it a little different, man. Shout out to the ladies. Hold on one moment.
The energy's better too. Like when the energy to the competition, you don't get all that ruckus and non-craziness.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. The bigger they get, the more.
I think it will to a degree. We've seen it a little bit. We've seen it a little bit with Clarissa bringing it to the game, right?
And Clarissa,
right? But I think Alicia and her had it going once, and I think it like diluted very quickly. I don't know if it was just like, hey man, just stand down, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, I think eventually, if we start getting to the like name calling and the rude, out of context, derogatory words being used, I hope we don't get that with women's boxing. It may build the fight up, but I hope it never goes there. What I was going to say is that, as Literary Pharaoh said, bringing the women fans into boxing is a good thing, because when you have a headliner, and I was listening to a couple of chats, and all I heard was the women in these chats talk about how good AJ looked. I'm like, there you go. So now they got not only eye candy to look at, but they get to see their contemporaries fight in the ring instead of watching them on some people at my work talk about some show. And I'm gonna have to give them a shout out.
About Love Island,
bad girls, something.
Okay, all right.
But I'm like, look, now you can watch that. You can watch real fights and you can watch real women get in there and get paid, right? Instead of watching some old celebrity get her head knocked off by another old celebrity, which, you know, it is what it is. But people like drama. But now you get some real drama because now you got professional athletes going at it, and I think it sells better.
Yeah. I like the I like the energy that's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be good to watch that develop. What was I getting ready to say as well, man? I can't remember. Let me bring up HLD up in the building. HLD, what's good, family? What's good with you, King?
What's going on, guys, man? Good, happy Saturday. Man, I was watching you, bro.
Yeah.
I was watching you guys like a half hour behind, so I'm reading this super chat. Pops, what was on like that? He talking that cap about Carolina. And nah, bro, she ready to tap that girl, knock her out, and get her out of boxing. That's what she's ready to do. I'm gonna put some extra sauce on it. But anyway, yo, man, it was a good call. I mean, what are we on right now? Because like I said, I was listening to you guys a half hour.
You were behind a little bit.
Yeah. We've just been going overall thoughts. Like, what was your overall thoughts? That's what Literary Pharaoh just gave us as to just the event and you know, because it is going viral. Like everywhere you look right now, they just keep talking about it. It's on CNN, it's on ESPN, it's on Bleacher Report. They're showing the jaw being broken. They're showing the X-rays. Doctors are talking about it. So it just goes to show you when boxing can be promoted in a certain light, it's bigger than Alabama versus Oklahoma. I mean, you know, it's a big deal. And the initial report I'm reading right now, it's not the final, but it says that 60 million hit it at its peak live. It got to 60 million, which you and I were talking about this, Clay, how if the Cowboys versus Kansas City Chiefs, Thursday Night Football was 57 million. And you and I said, do you think we can get it up that high? Because that's American viewership, right? Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big deal. 57 million on a Thursday night. And it looks like on a Friday night, they were able to pull it off. So that's pretty cool.
I knew it was going to surpass Canelo and Crawford's numbers. I knew it. And when I walked in this
morning
with my...
because Canelo Crawford got at its
47 million,
was close to 50 million. Yeah. Like, you know, but yeah, American viewership was 47 million.
When we went to practice this morning with my son, all the kids were talking about it, man. And I'm like, bro, that's all I had. That's that's all that needed to be said.
How did they feel about it? How did they feel about Jake and getting his jaw broken? And was, you know what I mean? How did they feel about that?
They it was a spectacle to them, you know what I mean? It wasn't. They're not looking at it as like we would, you know, boxing. Mm-hmm. They saw a giant versus Jake Paul, and yeah, you know, the running and grabbing, but they were like, bro, he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get knocked out. You know, and they were giving him props for that. He didn't get knocked out. I'm like, and I myself was like, damn, he took that shot, got his jaw broken in 3 places, and did not go to sleep. Yo, you got to give the guy credit. Regardless of anybody thinks about him, how they feel about him, he's doing something positive in a way because he's getting eyeballs to the sport. Yesterday, I think I heard Ray talking about eye candy that was going for the girls with AJ, and you know that all the women were up on that. You know what I mean? So it brought another attention. Is it supposed to be? You know, we know what it was. And
it wasn't Baumgartner had that moment when she with her and
man, that was
crazy. But she don't know that he don't like women. That's all I'm gonna say.
You funny. But the Keisha like women. You see the Keisha separate them?
Follicle, bro.
Yo, you see the Keisha separate them play? The Keisha was like, yo, you gotta go over there.
That's crazy though. For real, low key though.
I think that's
crazy, but
I'm telling you, there's videos and stuff out there and pictures. Dude,
don't say that, bro.
I'm just and hot tubs with all the men and all that stuff. I'm just
come on, man.
Hey,
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I'm gonna say that because I'm gonna tell you. It's funny HD saying it, but I mean HLD saying.
I've heard it too.
I haven't really heard it, but I've had questions. I feel like
look. Here's what I will say about it, Clay. All right, for the longest time, Lennox Lewis was looked upon the same way. They were like, I don't know.
Really?
He was. A lot of people were saying that. And the funny thing is, I, as you know, Clay, I happen to know the person that was the advisor to Lennox during those peak times.
Frank Bruno looked at the same way also. Frank Bruno was too.
And let me tell you something right now, Clay. Lennox Lewis, man, was a pimp and a player, bro.
No, yeah, I never felt that about Lennox. I ain't gonna lie,
but you don't got the videos and you don't got the track record that AJ's got out there. I'm just saying, all you got to do is Google and you'll see.
You see the girl he was with?
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna leave it alone, AJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone too.
I'm just gonna say, AJ, we very much love you as the. If you could be the heavyweight champion of the world one more time, I think you would bring a lot of eyes to boxing in general. So,
yeah, he's a superstar.
I'm definitely want to let it go.
That we're talking about with the.
I'm definitely willing to leave it alone as well. But I thought,
let's bring it back to the card in itself. It was a good card. It was a good card of women's boxing. I think the performance of the women's boxing was Yokaste Valle. She's the one who brought the smoke that night, and she should have gotten the performance of the night for women over Sugar Neeks or whatever her name is.
Shanika, yeah, Johnson.
Yeah, they gave it to her, the bonus check. I think it should have gone to Yokaste Valle. But the young kid you guys were talking about, that's what I was interested in watching. Jamal Harvey. I'm
Talk
like,
to
man. Yeah, the kid. I saw him at the weigh-ins. I'm like, the kid looked good. Both of them looked like they were coming in shape. Yo, that kid didn't come to play. He came to fight. I liked it. I like what I saw. He did what he had to do. He's good. He's good for now. I'm not gonna put him up there yet, but we got to keep an eye on this young man.
The foundation, right? It's like what a foundation to build on, right? Like keep building. What a foundation, though. Poise, body work was. I love the body work from the prospects, bro. A great counter puncher, great footwork. I seen him doing some nice footwork, slipping shots, rolling, turning his opponent. And he had a sturdy opponent that gave him 6 good rounds, man.
Yes, it was. It was. I think the letdown to me of the night. I'm gonna go right back to Bum Bum. I mean, she needed to do something, and she needed to do more than what she did. She needed to do a lot more than what because she was given the spotlight for the co-main of this, and I think she dropped the ball. That's why she was, I'm just happy to be here. That type of crap. No, because you sucked. You bored the shit out of people. You didn't do what you could have turned it on. I'm not saying knocking her out. She could have turned it on. Get the output on. Because I knew she was going to have problems with this 12-by-3. She ain't no Amanda Serrano who could throw over 1,000 punches in that type of time. She does not do that. And I knew she was going to have a problem with her gas tank. And it showed towards the end there, they were just hugging and kissing each other because they couldn't do shit. They couldn't do shit. So I think this was her opportunity to take, hey, what did Amanda do with Taylor under that Mike Tyson card? Yo, she stole the show, right? This is her time passing her the baton because they gave her the spotlight, and I think she dropped the ball. And I am against that super chat. I know it was over a half hour ago, but it's Caroline Dubois who called Bum Bum out, and it was Bum Bum evading it. Yeah, puppy. Like, no. Hey, Jake Paul was saying, "Where's the contract? Where's the contract on that press conference?" So, yo, she wants that fight, and I got Caroline taking her out. I got Caroline taking her out. But besides the main event, it is what it is. I think it was great for boxing overall. Anybody hating on it, you just whatever, bro. You just want to hate on the guy. He's doing better than you because I mean, damn, he paid the price. He paid the price. If you saw his face this morning, bro, he paid the price.
Yeah, yo, he took one. He did it for the money, and I think we can throw scripted out the window, right? HLD.
There's no scripted in this, bro. AJ, he was doing the Shakur running around for the first 3 rounds, and that's not AJ's game. But I didn't hear nobody say cut off the ring. Right? Was it cut off the ring from the Olympian champion versus this YouTuber? No, is that when somebody's avoiding you, they want to evade engagement. You are not cutting off no damn ring. It's as simple as that.
They're running literally, yeah. Unless you're gonna football tackle them, if that's the game plan, then yeah, you could run them down and tackle them, but you ain't gonna get no clean shots off of nobody who's
it was a win-win, bro. Around. I think it's a win-win because the damage that AJ did to him, for the boxing hardcores, we want Jake Paul out. Yo, he broke his jaw in 3 places. What more can you expect?
I think
what more can you expect? And when Jake Paul fell, he looked like a crazy white boy.
No, when he fell, I loved his reaction. He was like, he let everybody know. If you didn't know what it felt like to get hit by Anthony Joshua, he let everybody know, like, intense, crazy, That was crazy. He caught me. I'm fucked. I ain't getting nothing. I'm good. Count that.
Give me the painkillers.
That was
good money. We straight, AJ.
Hey,
we good. Salute.
That was out of that Jackass MTV. Remember the Jackass with them white boys, bro? They just doing all the crazy things. That's how he was reacting, man.
Yeah. He was okay after he got punched in his jaw. Jake was good. Like you saw, he was good. He sat down. He said to himself, that's
he couldn't continue.
We not doing this again. We not getting punched in the face by heavyweights. I don't want no smoke with Anthony Joshua. Lay it down. You got it. Go ahead, ref. Count it out. We going home. I saw
the video that people didn't show from the crowd, right? Because you saw him bro, he was really messed up. He was really messed up.
Bro, how you not gonna he got hit so clean, bro? Like, no, bro. He definitely was messed up, bro.
No, there's a doctor report with the doctor explaining how bad that was. So I was saying this in the beginning of the show. You missed it, HLD. But basically, Jake Paul will, if he wants to get back into boxing, the only thing he'll be able to do by the fall of next year will be to start training, because it'll take a while for the jaw just to be aligned. And then they're going to have to give him dental implants because he's going to lose all those teeth. I think it's like eight teeth.
Oh, they removed 6 of them.
Yeah. And then from that point, it'll take 9 months for it to get to 90% structurally correct. And then, so that's what I was saying is,
and it depends if they're going to let him keep the titanium implants that they put in his jawline and all that. He's got titanium in his face now. And
he got jacked up. That the job got done, guys. The job got done.
Let me bring Coach Eddie in the building, man, real quick, man. Coach Eddie, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother. How y'all doing, man?
Doing good. Just talking about the spectacle last night.
It was cool. Only in America will we, guys that wear purses and fingernails, they're cool. But guys who, walk around and the women are all over him, that's the one that you got to look out for. That make sense. But I digress. It ain't the guys who carrying around purses and wearing pink furs and fingernails. That's the guy right here.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, what happened last night? First of all, AJ spared him. First of all, that wasn't even full punch. That wasn't even his full power. That was probably about 70%. And not only that, he broke his jaw on purpose because he lined him up. And if you know. When you're a professional fighter, you can pinpoint your shots and you can hit targets. And you know where to hit somebody to do damage. If he would have hit him in the temple, that boy would have been.
Oh yeah,
he would have
been bad. Yeah,
he would have had a brain bleed this morning. Mm-hmm. He would have been probably comatose if he hit him in the temple. There's no doubt in my mind that he would be in a coma this morning. I've been saying this the whole going to everybody's chat. I've been spamming it. I said this kid is gonna need his food out of a blender and a straw. I've been saying he's gonna get hospitalized. I know he's gonna get his face broken. 1,000%. I know it. He lined him up. He broke his jaw on purpose, and that wasn't even 100%. That was 70% power right there. Just a good shot, turned it over, broke his jaw. It is what it is. Yeah. Second of all, the look on his parents' face, they should be ashamed of themselves. They are some money-hungry, greedy, degenerate parents. Because there is no way in the world I let my son go in there with that monster right there. I don't care how much it is. You find somebody else, son. You find somebody else. We're not fighting that guy. Because let me tell you something. When you lose teeth, he's no longer going to have that sensation anymore. That's gone. He's a young kid. He's going to have to live with that crap for the rest of his life. He's not going to be able to chew his food right. He ain't going to be able to enjoy anything. Yeah, you got all the money, fine and dandy, but his dad had this look on his face like he was angry. Like he was looking. You remember how Rocky was looking at Drago when he unallowed Apollo? That's how his dad was looking at Anthony Joshua. What the heck you think was going to happen? You should have pulled your son to the side and say, "Look here, son, you're not fighting him." That's the time to be a dad right there. You don't roll the dice on something like that. That boy could have been not here this morning. I mean, I'm being serious, man. He could have been not here this morning. Why would a parent why would they even sit by to do something like that? Now I think they're gonna take they're going to take a strong look now, these commissioners, before they start sanctioning these type of fights. I don't think we'll see it again. I really don't.
Do you think?
I don't know.
If that's the case, if the commission does look at this now and decide to start making some decisions differently now in the future of the back end of this fight, then was the fight worthwhile? Then did the commission, you know what I'm saying? Because we were saying this going into the fight about how if Jake really got hurt really bad or something happened, and I mean he got hurt bad as far as the injury done to him, but thank God I think that was the best case scenario as like what you're saying off of what it could have been. But ultimately that was enough to motivate the commission into looking into these things a little bit deeper and not allowing this to happen again. Was it worth it for boxing? Did it move the needle forward for boxing in the right direction on multiple levels? It brought the eyes, it brought the eyes of the fans, the eyes of the commission. And we're going into 2026 with this whole entire new campaign by Zoo for Boxing and what Dana's doing and what boxing is moving forward. Was it worthwhile for the sport?
Money rules, and this thing made a lot of money. And if anything they're gonna look at is just like, you know, this guy's not really a heavyweight going up there to try to fight this big dude. That's where I think they're gonna maybe look at it. But I don't think that much is gonna come out of it. His parents were not going to tell this kid what to do. He's been a loose cannon all his life. His parents have nothing to do with his career. Even his brother was telling him he shouldn't have fought. He was saying that for him. Like, are you crazy, bro? His own brother was saying it. You know, if you look at his brother in the locker room, he was getting prepared. His brother had a serious look on his face. He wasn't like trying to be rah like with everybody else and Tekashi 6ix9ine and all that. He was just like, man, I know this is not no fun and games. And here's a guy who does WWE wrestling. So he knows what it is getting into the ring with these monsters up in there when you're not undersized. So there's nothing his parents could have done. You know, they're supporting him as well because, this guy's old enough, man. He's tattooed from head to toe. What his parents going to do?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't hold the parents accountable at all. I mean, I understand where Coach Eddie's coming from as far as like, you know, supporting it or whatever have you. But look, at the end of the day, I was telling Angelo this because Angelo, you know, is a trainer. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. I'm gonna start doing that thing again.
Stop it.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, we had this conversation about being honest with your fighter, right?
Right.
And telling them exactly where they are. And I said to him, okay, but what happens when the fighter puts his foot down and says, Coach, respectfully, this is what I want to do. I got this opportunity and I need to know, are you going to train me the best you can for this or not? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if it ain't going to be you, it's going to be somebody else because I'm not turning down $100 million. Just I'm not doing it. So I think I have a better chance with you, somebody who knows me in my corner.
It's the whole Rocky and Mickey thing. Are you going to train me or not?
But hold on. But let me say something. But Clay, at the end of the day, he didn't have to do that. He could have found somebody else. It may not have been to that magnitude, but he still could have found somebody else. And after the coach and the trainer, all those guys, they're just a bunch of leeches, man. Because if I'm gonna tell my fighter straight up, so you're not fighting this guy. This guy will kill you, man.
He chose it, bro.
You know, just like Mickey told Rocky, this guy will kill you to death, man. It's a wrecking machine.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be part of it. He said, I'm not going to be part of it. That's it. Yeah, it didn't stop Rocky from jumping in there with if he dies, he dies. It didn't stop that from happening. You know what I'm saying? Or I mean, not even that was for when he was fighting.
You're talking about Clubber Lang, not
Clubber Lang. I will kill you to death, Rocky.
Now hold on. Hold on. Time out. Let's not forget that it also happened to Creed. You know, Rocky didn't want to train Creed on that first fight. You know, same thing.
But it goes back. You know, he had a list. It could have been Bud. It could have been Ngannou. I don't know who else was in that list.
It was Bud, Ngannou, Ryan.
Terrence Crawford.
Berlanga might have been on there.
Only one name really makes sense for the spectacle. This spectacle that we had yesterday. Out of all those names, AJ was the biggest name.
Yep, that was the biggest bag.
Yes.
A start. Actually, I think a safer route could have been Deontay Wilder. To be honest,
but that's not. And like I said, what I was in the middle of saying before was me and Angelo talked about this. You know what I'm saying? Because Angelo was just sitting on business, basically saying this should never have happened. What he wanted to speak towards. What were the people around him saying to him? He shouldn't even been in there. But like I said to him, bro. Jake seems like a strong-minded person. It's the same thing with like Ryan Garcia when he went to go fight Gervonta Tank Davis. Oscar pleaded with him, do not do this rehydration clause. Do not go into this fight fighting this puncher at 136 pounds with a 10-pound rehydration clause. It's not going to work out for you. And Ryan was like, yo, bro, either you with me or you not, man. Keep, you know what I mean? I'm doing this. And he ended up, and he has the last say. So the question becomes, if you're in this person's team and he's made it clear to you, coach, like, I hear what you're saying, but you don't run this. So if you're not going to do it, you can step away if that's what you choose to do, and I'll find somebody else. Or do you stand in the corner of your fighter and be like, well, you know what? I'm going to give my fighter the best chance I can give him and put the best game plan I can, even though in my mind, this is crazy. But what do you do in that situation? It's not as easy as get your ass out the ring. Who the hell you playing with before I spank you? I'm going to spank you on your behind. Get in the back of the car, bro. We going home. You out here acting the damn. That's not what this is about, right? This is an adult. You know what I'm saying, HL? Like, you see your 15-year-old son act up, you might snatch him up by the back of his collar. Like, you got me fucked up, cuz.
Yeah.
Your ass in the car before I embarrass you in front of the people you think mean something to you, bro. I don't even give a damn, bro. Get in the car. When he hits 21, 20, 19, 18, hey, bro, hey, dad, man, ride or die, man. You ride with me or not? I'm not leaving $100 million on the floor, bro. I'm going to put it on there. Are you going to help me or not? And that's
who's going to tell this guy that's worth probably around $200-300 million already? Who's going to tell him no? His brother's prime company is worth $2 billion. Who's going to tell Logan Paul you can't get in the ring with whoever the hell is the next name in wrestling? You can't. These are men already. I'm not going to treat them like boys.
You can have that moment with him, right? You can have that 5-10 minute conversation moment with him where you pull him to the side and you go, Jake, not for nothing. Yeah, I don't like this. Well, this is crazy. Why are we doing that part? I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,
I'm under the impression that if the parents would have got a little bit more involved, they could have stopped it. Maybe I don't know. It's something about a mother's tears that'll change your mind, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I think they're interested in the money too. That's just my
speaking of a mother.
Wait, slow down. I need to pull Too Rich in here. Let's pull Too Rich in here. I need to be balanced before we all start getting into it. Too Rich, what's good with your family?
Good. Hey, what's going on, Clay, Ray ass panel?
What's good with your family? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good, man. About last night, man, like I say, they're just the definition of you don't play boxing, man. You just don't play boxing. And I think, if Jake Paul didn't think, I think he got a little cocky, but he realized last night that he was a novice. Now, the problem I got two problems. One is the team that he got, because clearly they novices too. Jake Paul had been down 3 times. He had nothing left. He couldn't get out the way of punches at this point. Why was that fight still going? He got his jaw broke because they didn't stop the fight. He was defenseless at that point. You saw it coming. You see what I mean? So I think the team failed him, where I think a real boxing coach or trainers would have saw that the fighter just didn't have it no more, that he was going to get damaged. But Jake Paul's team, they let him keep going now. His life will be totally changed for the entirety of at this point. You know what I mean? Then the problem I got as a collective, not individually, but we as boxing fans also to blame. We got jealous of Jake Paul and the success he was having. And so we put the peer pressure on him to fight a real boxer, knowing that he's not a real boxer. But the success he was having, we felt like it made boxing look bad, and we wanted him to pay. But after seeing that last night, man, he should have just kept fighting MMA guys where he had a slight advantage and putting on a show. And I think we all as boxing fans realize it's not a show, man. That wasn't a show last night. That was damaging. That was unfair at the end of the day. Even though we wanted to see him pay, at least we thought we did. Today, I'm not sure if that's what I wanted to see. That bad, man. Your jaw broke. Likely both sides are broke. You're never going to be the same again. I'm not sure that's what we really wanted. But, that's what we got. So it is what it is. I'm not going to cheer for a man's just downfall, even though I thought I would. Yeah, we want to see Jake Paul get blasted out of here. But after seeing that, wow, that's crazy, man. It was unfair, man, So it is. What about Nate Robinson? He made a lot of money.
Well, what I wanted to say was, and you're right, what about Nate Robinson, right? That's another good point. But I was on the point of saying exactly what you said, right? Everyone's saying, like you just said, he's playing boxing, not a real boxer. What is he doing? The key thing is, and we all have to realize, is he's bringing the casuals to the sport. He's giving a vision to the United States and letting them see what boxing really is. That he's bringing the sport into the light again. And I think at that sacrifice, I don't want to break his jaw. I don't think anybody wanted to. Some people talk about him being unalived. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I don't want to see none of that happen. But I do know it's a combat sport, and he chose to do it. I didn't put the pen in his hand to make him sign a contract. I don't think his parents or anyone was there saying, hey, man, go do your best. Whatever you're going to do. If you're going to do it, do it. I mean, that's what a parent should do. I don't think you should, but the encouragement was there. If you stuck on doing that, then go do it. So at the end of the day, we have to look at what did he bring to the sport, not what he took away from the sport. Because a lot of times we like to look at the negative side of it. Jake Paul brought attention to professional boxing. He brought attention to European boxing or British boxing. He brought attention to females boxing. So ultimately, he's turning the game around, regardless of how we look
Netflix,
at this.
right? And he brought Netflix.
Right, Netflix, exactly. And he owed that bag to Netflix. Remember, he had Gervonta Davis, and when they pulled him out the fight, he had to bring somebody in that was going to be a superstar. So at the risk of it all, he turned it all into a profit for the fans. You know what I mean? We got the reward of it. Not so much of and whether we liked it or not, we all tuned in. So we got the reward. We got to see it, and we all see that how boxing should not be played, as True Rich said, right? It's not a game. Keep doing what you're doing. But hey, it is what it is.
Listen to the success of this kid, bro. 5 years
Hey,
ago,
can I say something when you get finished?
Ago, he was.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, after HLD, go ahead, HL.
I'm saying Nakisa put this out 5 years ago. Jake Paul got his first break under Eddie Hearn or Matchroom card as a co-main.
Mm-hmm.
As a co-main. And 5 years later, he's got Eddie Hearn and his biggest star as the B-side on Jake Paul's promotional card. You guys got to give this man his respect. You got to, and what he's doing for women's boxing and what he did yesterday. As goofy as that shit was for a crazy white boy to do that shit, he took it and he ain't bitching. He ain't crying about it. He took it like a man. He's in the hospital tweeting and showing the guy. Yeah, it is what it is, but you got to give this man his respect. He has earned everything that he's got coming for him, and I have nothing to say negative about him. Nothing. So, I mean, anybody who still has hate in their heart for them, you's got problems.
I agree. I mean, we're in a space where that's going to happen. One moment, Coach A. Let me just read off this super chat so I can get it off the screen. I want my vision. Salute to you, man. I appreciate you for the $5 and the support to the channel. It says, shame on all the people who wanted AJ to hurt Jake Paul. And there were many. Jake Paul has given many fighters money and opportunities. Salute to him. Hey, man, I want my vision back. I'm going to be real with you, man. I didn't want Jake Paul to get hurt, right? But let me tell you where I did end up when it was all said and done. Where I ended up was this guy is being represented as a face of American boxing. And for me, going into the new year with everything boxing is doing, I didn't want him to be the face of boxing, right? And at the end of the day, if Jake Paul was going to stand on his morals and his high ground and say that he was ready to fight the likes of Canelo Alvarez or Terrence Crawford or AJ or any of the bigger fighters, and he said he was going to be a champion, for me, it was a fine moment. In other words, when I mean by a fine moment, it was a fine. If you guys want to play this game, if this is the game that's going to be played, then bring on AJ. If that's what it's going to be. Fine. I think the boxing space needed to see boxing for what it is, which is a very dangerous sport that you don't play. And maybe that would put some appreciation on what these fighters are really putting on the line when they jump into the ring. Maybe it would make you guys appreciate the fighters a little bit more to see Jake Paul's jaw broken the way it was and to see what it really is happening in the ring and why these fighters deserve to be celebrated as the warriors that they really are. I think to a degree that happened. I think like I'm listening to my guy Too Rich here saying, I thought I was gonna like it, but I ain't like it, bro. That was uncomfortable to see. That man suffered and made his whole life might be changed from this moment on. And this is from a real pundit in the space, somebody who really loves the sport. But I think casuals and in the world, those 47 million viewers who saw that had an opportunity to see the ugly side of boxing, and maybe that might put a little bit more appreciation on what the sport really is. Maybe.
Right.
I
want to comment on that really quick. Everything y'all said was on point and right, but I just want to say this is just like when a celebrity gets on the live. It's a big deal. But when the guy next door to you that's unheard of, it's no big deal. What Jake Paul did yesterday was not valiant. It was cowardly. Because journeyman after journeyman after journeyman do the same exact thing. They get in there and they fight. They don't run, they fight. And they get taken out for a whole lot less than what this clown got paid for. I'm gonna let that sink in.
No,
$90 million to do that? No, journeyman. How many journeymen is on Deontay Wilder's record, on Tyson Furie's record, on Anthony Joshua's record, who done the same thing that he went in? They lace up, they go in there and they fight, and they get whatever $10, $12, $15,000, and they go home and go back to work the next day. So that wasn't a valiant effort. Sorry, I don't agree with it. And nobody had sympathy for Nate Robinson. He was funny. It was a meme. It was cool when it happened to Nate Robinson. It was cool when it happened to Tyrone Woodley. But now all of a sudden, oh, poor Jake. Nah, I ain't going for it. Jake got what he deserved. He talked up on the butt whooping, and he got what he deserved. You brought up the wrong tree. You know you had no business in the ring with that guy. You went there anyway, and you got cooked. So now you got to live with it.
I don't know if
that's where I'm at.
Hold on 1 second. I'm right back at you, Too Rich. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. 90 plus people between. We're streaming on Twitter now, by the way. We're doing Twitter, we're doing YouTube, we'll be doing Instagram very shortly, and we're also normally on Facebook as well, streaming. So anybody who's watching this, wherever you at, share. If you're on Twitter, share this channel along the line. Make it over to YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. If you're in here right now, hit the like button as well. Appreciate all you guys. And I thank you in advance. Go ahead, Too Rich. You about to build.
Yeah, I want to, let me make sure I represent my point right. Well, I don't have as much problem with the knockout had it came, say, like how what's the guy that knocked out Woodley? You saw how that knockout was. Woodley didn't expect that hit with a shot. The fight is over with. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, over. But what I have a problem with is that Jake had already been down 3 times, man. The fight was done. Jake had no more fight in him. So Anthony Joshua, let's be for real, he really didn't look that good most of the goddamn fight. Now, maybe it was set up. Maybe they needed to go a few rounds or whatever. But at the end of the day, Jake Paul had nothing left. And I want to remind y'all when Terrence Crawford knocked Sean Porter down, then knocked him down again, what did Daddy do? Throw the towel in, man. But my son ain't going to beat him. He ain't going to beat him. I'm not going to let him get hurt. You see what I mean? I don't understand. We watched a wounded fighter out there that his team didn't step in and say, man, this fight is over. This dude falling out over the ground. He has nothing left. He was just a wounded animal, and that's what make it ugly that he got his jaw broke after that. He didn't get caught, early in the fight with that first knock, that one good shot, boom, the fight over with. I think maybe the jaw don't break then. But with no defense, nothing left, no legs, no nothing, and nobody that had a common sense to say this guy is just a sitting duck out there. That's the part I don't like. You see what I mean? Because I think the coaches was novice. They should have been stopped that fight. That's all I'm saying. The fight was done already. It was over. Jake had nothing left. So I don't like seeing that damage after fight shit over.
Now his trainer, bro. His coach,
even the referee.
Le'Veon Love, bro. The guy's not a nobody.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is they didn't stop the fight. Money. You're not telling me Sean Porter is a durable guy. And if his daddy could protect him, why couldn't they protect Jake?
No, I agree.
I think the fight was over with.
Yeah, I think the corner could definitely be held accountable without a doubt. I think, listen, man, like I said, what I'm going to actually do right now is I'm going to send it over to Angelo because I think he was very reluctant to speak on this. I'm talking to him. I don't think I know that he was reluctant to speak on this because you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but there definitely was a highlight when me and Angelo were talking last night on the corner. He felt like, well, I don't want to do this to them, but I got to talk about them. And he was reluctant. He was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it on the show or not. He was still weighing it out with his conscience. But at this point, I think we're so deep into the conversation. Angelo, definitely, man. Speak on it.
Yeah, no, I think again, like, everybody, everybody in the panel and everybody in general, we're all just human. I think you got to live with whatever it is that you decide. There was a point in there going into, I believe, the round right before he got his jaw broken that you can even hear Jay Leon is on his ear. And he's yelling at him like, you're better than this. You can do more than this. We believe in you, right? Mm. And that's where my conversation with Clay was more about is how serious was everyone and honest with everyone during training camp about all of it, right? And again, I'm not gonna do the bleeding heart of Jake Paul's a grown ass man, dude. You want to fucking jump off of the San Francisco Bay Bridge? That's on you, even though it's against the law. I just want to let you know it's against the law. But if you want to jump off of it, and I can't stop you, there's parts of me that's like, but if I have the ability to talk you out of it, morally, I have to do that myself, right? And on this scenario, the first thing I remember before this fight was announced, like literally 4 days before it was announced, me, Clay, and Ray were having this kind of a fun argument, but I was standing on my principles saying, this is BS. If the commission, any commission in any region allows this, and Jake Paul gets seriously hurt, this will actually be bad for boxing. But in the sense of, you might see Dana White and Nick Khan get on a podium and go, and this is exactly why we're doing Zuffa boxing. Because you see that bullcrap that just happened? What if Jake Paul would have died? And that's what we're going to try to protect everybody from. We're going to give insurance during training camp. And that's the thing, it could have been a call to arms. And I think in a lot of ways, guys, this did become sort of a call to arms, right? We're tired of these influencers. I don't even say influencers, but Clay, you and I have spoken to that there's these new generation of kids that need to get slapped thinking they could talk to people like us a certain way, right? There's a level of decorum and respect you have to give everyone. And if no one's messing with you, you don't need to mess with them. But there seems to be this new group of rebellious kids who it's easy to talk smack when you're behind a computer, man, but let me see you after school and let's see what happens, right? Let me see what happens when I'm in your face, and let's really have this conversation for real. And I think that Jake Paul in a lot of ways was kind of influencing that generation of, yeah, man, it's cool to get your jaw broken. It's really not, guys. It's really not. It's always been this way. Like, back in the day, we would have this fun conversation, right, Ray, where we would say things like this, like, how much money would you take, man, to take a punch from Mike Tyson? Remember when Mike Tyson, I bet you wouldn't do that. How much? $1 million? $2 million? We literally just saw a guy take $100 million to take a punch from the Mike Tyson of today. And Too Rich, I'm sad for it. I'm like, I didn't really want to see that. Like, myself, I did not want to see it. What I did want is what Clay's been saying, which is there's a clear separation between someone who's put their entire lives into the craft of boxing and someone who's using the medium as a storytelling machine for them to make money, right? And that's what Coach Eddie's talking about. How about all these journeymen? How about the fighters that have actually died this year already? None of them made $100 million, right? How about the guy that Jai Apataya just fought, who was the #1 contender and was undefeated? Jai Apataya broke that guy's vertebrae and sent them to the hospital in a coma. That could have been Jake Paul in front of 60 million people, right? So Coach Eddie is correct. Anthony Joshua is so good and so precise with how he punches that he could have aimed it 2 inches higher and it'd have been a different result. He chose to aim it 2 inches lower, and the result was what it is. But hopefully that result also then makes coaches in general and everybody who's in the industry, man, if you have the influence to talk someone out of a ledge, maybe in your own conscience you should do that. Because if the entire narrative of the whole global community, and especially the boxing community, was Jake Paul has no chance to beat Anthony Joshua, my question to Clay was, then what made his team believe that?
Mm-hmm.
What made his team somehow convince Jake to coach him to make him feel like it was going to be all good, bro? Everything's going to be just fine, right? And then now that's when we can sit there and go, well, did they really even believe it? And if they did, that goes to what Too Rich is saying, that they're novices at this too. Or is there a moral question to it all? Is there a moral question?
That it's all these kids. There's nothing.
It's money.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, HLD, but I think the scrutiny is more so, okay, I believe the corner does have the power, though.
They do, but they're nobodies, bro. They're nobodies to tell this man. They're nobody to tell this man, this particular. Maybe it was an older gentleman, an old school, guy of the boxing.
No, but if they cared about Jake, right? And I'm just being honest, right? Let's just say at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder was in a fight with Tyson Fury, was taking a little too much punishment, and what did Mark Breland do? He threw the towel in and said, yeah, you could be mad at me all you want. I'm not going to allow this to happen to you, your mother, your kids, your daughter. I know too many. I'm too close to you to sit here and watch you. You're not protecting yourself. This is a dangerous fight. So, yeah, I can't convince you not to take the fight. But during the fight, the power is
that part
in the hands of the trainer.
The part of them. But, I come from a generation where you tell your kid, yo, when the pot is boiling on the stove, you can't touch that shit. You're gonna burn your hands. I told you twice now. Oh, you want to go again? Go ahead, touch him, motherfucker.
But that's the problem. They did. That's the problem. They didn't tell him. That's the problem. They didn't tell him.
His own brother told him. His own brother told him he's crazy. His own brother told him he's crazy.
That was for content. They had all these fools around him. They had all those sparring partners who was putting batteries in his back, and secretly they were knowing that this boy was about to get destroyed. I seen Jay Leon Love at the glove selection when Anthony was selecting his gloves, and when they passed that glove to Jay Leon Love, he turned to Theo Chambers and had this look of resignation on his face, like, man, we are about to get killed on the live. Sorry, I know what I look at every small detail. They looked at the size of that guy's hands. They looked at his forearms. They looked at everything, and he looked at Theo and said, "We are in trouble. We are in trouble." And he had Mexican style EMS glove, and I said, "This boy is going to break his face." AJ has never, and I repeat, never worn Everlast MX gloves.
That's right.
He came to do damage. He came to break his face.
Angelo, didn't I say something about the gloves?
You did.
I was like, yo, he got Everlast gloves on. When the hell? We were literally talking the day before about AJ is so just so structured.
Yes,
AJ White gloves, the AJ White shorts with the Anthony Joshua on it. He came in different, and those Everlast gloves for sure were different. I'm like, yo, where did those come from? Yo, shout out to everybody in the building. 75. We got over 110 people in the chat, whether it's between here, Twitter, or the other channel. Hit the like button. Hit the like button for me, please, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I got you. I got you, Alberto. There you go. There's the link, brother.
There's an unnamed man who wanted Jake Paul out, and he said, "Yeah, I'll get Anthony Joshua on your ass." And he said that like 6-7 months ago. And that's
with Turkey Allen Sheik.
Turkey said that. Turkey said that. So maybe those MX gloves were like, you make sure you take care of this, so I could get you that Tyson Beauty fight.
But I want to say something. I want to say something too. I want to speak about the audacity, because I've seen the audacity look of Anthony Joshua, like the audacity of you to even challenge me, an emperor. And I seen that, and I seen that look, that smirk on his face, and I seen that, yeah, I got you now, and now it's about to end. I seen all that. He said, in other words, how dare you challenge the king, you peasant?
You know who had that? Who had
Wait,
that
real quick. I want to ask the panel a question real quick. Throw this into whatever you're saying, Coach Eddie, and what everybody else is speaking. I want to know how you guys feel about this. AJ and Jake Paul had a moment when they did the face-off with Cameron, and AJ looked at him and smiled at him because here Jake Paul was talking about manifestation and how this was written, and he thought he was going to will this. And you saw that there was a moment there where Anthony Joshua was like, "This is so adorable." Like, this dude really believes his own bullshit. He thinks he's about to will himself past 20 years of boxing. You know what I'm saying? he thinks he's about to mind fuck me into beating me or derailing me. And he said to Jake, "That's going to be my thing. Beating you is what it is. Knocking you out is coming. I don't need it. What's going to be interesting for me is watching you lose all of that confidence as the rounds go by, as I'm picking you apart, as you're realizing that this is not going to happen the way you want to happen. And it starts to become a reality.
Taking his soul, like he said.
And I'm going to take your soul. My question to you guys is, mission accomplished? Did Anthony Joshua effectively do that to Jake Paul? Does Jake Paul have a newfound respect for the sport after this fight with Anthony Joshua?
Absolutely. Let me go.
Change anything.
Hold on, wait. Everybody, hold on, because Coach Eddie was cooking on it, and I'm gonna pass it over to Too Rich.
And we gotta mute some people too, somebody, because there's too many background noise when Coach Eddie's talking. We gotta mute.
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the audacity. Like, you've seen everything, just the look of disgust, the look of disdain. He almost had this smirk, his smile on his face when he seen him just like wilting in front of him like a piece of lettuce under the hot Georgia sun. It was just so satisfying. And that is the sadistic part of Anthony Joshua. He's not that, that proper guy. It's two people that you see. You see the businessman, the corporate guy, and then there's a beast on the inside. And he tried. Sometimes when people are overly nice, those are some of the most violent people and most dangerous people you can never be around, because they have to be like that to suppress that animal and that beast in front of them, that's inside of them. And that's what you see with Anthony Joshua. And not only that, it's just Jake talks so much. And it's like, at some point in time, you just can't wait to shut him up. Because not only that, like you spoke to, he believes it. What even makes it even worse. Like, you actually believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. So now I have to show you, unfortunately. Everybody's around, like all the sparring partners, Jared Anderson, they would tell, "Oh yeah, you got this." Lawrence Okoli, "Oh yeah, blah, 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 blah." Theo, all of them was in it for the money. Larry Wade, they sitting there with their hats on and the shades, and they going along with the bull crap because they're getting paid, man. And instead of somebody just pulling this kid to the side and having a heart-to-heart, pull him in the office, look, man, if you fight this guy, you're gonna get seriously hurt. Now, this may be my last day, but I've done my job. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, the money ain't worth it. It's blood money. You go out there, they're all complicit in what happened. Somebody should have told this kid, "I'm not gonna be no part of it. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt bad. You want to say I'm negative, Nancy, but this is the reality of what's about to happen to you. Your life is going to change. It's not going to be for the better Friday night. You may be richer, but you're probably going to knock about 5 years off of your life. So I hope it's working.
In hindsight, just in hindsight, and what he's saying, in hindsight, who's the man that rejected this fight in hindsight? And Ngannou laughed it off and said, "F you, bro. You nobody know me for me to get in there. How dare you even call me out?"
Right.
And so the audacity that coach is at, like, bro, and now in hindsight, you can say, "Yo, he was right. He was right." Yeah. And he didn't take that blood money like Coach Eddie's saying in that sense. So I kind of get what Coach Eddie is saying, but I say, yo, man.
But I believe
he a grown man. I agree with you, at the end of the day, he a grown man. Hold on, let me send it over to Too Rich.
I believe the blood man.
Wait, hold on, Too Rich. Go ahead, and I'm going to send it to you, Little Ray Farrell. Go ahead, Too Rich. I know you was in the middle of something.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean the mission got accomplished. Jake Paul got humbled. I don't want nobody think I had a problem with the knockout. It's not the knockout. It just when that particular jaw-breaking incident occurred, the fight was done. In the NFL, they have something called what they call a defenseless receiver, right?
Yep.
And you'll throw a point. If you hit a guy, he's not able to defend himself. I'm saying at that point in the fight, Jake Paul was a defense. He was just he was a layup at that point. I don't have a problem with him taking the fight with Anthony Joshua, but after the third knockdown, the fight was over. Call it. He get the stoppage. Jake Paul go on to live his life. But leaving him in there as a defenseless fighter is what broke his jaw. He couldn't keep his hands on the more. He was dazed. He was out of it. That's the part I don't like. Now, if Anthony Joshua would have landed that shot clean on the first knockdown, nobody would have had a problem with it. But for it to be that far gone in the fight, Jake Paul has nothing left. It's just the stupidness of your corner not to stop the fight. You see, I heard people say when Ryan Garcia was dropping Devin Haney, that Bill should have the fight should have been stopped. Now, Devin Haney was winning some of the rounds where he wasn't knocked down in, so I can understand that he had a chance maybe to pull that fight out. Jake Paul had no chance. If you remember Breadman with Kyron Davis when he fought the Cuban guy who was beating the shit out of him, that fight should have been stopped. To me, that was an error on Breadman to sit there and let Kyron just get beat the fuck up. At some point, you have to assess, can my fighter come back? If he can't come back, why is he still in there? Why is he still there? The jaw got broke because of negligence. Not because Anthony Joshua just landed the perfect shot, in the heat of the fight. It was after Paul was defenseless. So I'm not putting on Anthony Joshua. I just think the corner should have did a better job in saying, hey man, the fight is over. Jake Paul don't even have the energy or the stamina to land a knockout punch at this point. Anthony Joshua looked fresh. It like he hadn't burnt nothing. So I just think now on the other side, Milan McClain was saying this. Anthony Joshua, this was a bigger fight for him than people expect. It was people betting on Jake Paul. It was people challenging Anthony Joshua machismo. So you really gave him a layup to bring himself back. Like he said, he had been out the ring for 15 months. We were questioning if Anthony Joshua still got it. Is he chinny? Is he all that? Or whatever case, then you give him a layup like this. And even when he don't really look good in most of the fight, at a point when this novice guy is defenseless, I mean, it was a slaughter at that point. You know what I mean? I didn't want to see it like clean knockout, cool. But after Jake Paul's been damaged, man, and was no good, didn't have the energy to muster up no kind of knockout punch or win, why is he still in there? So it is what it is.
And then the other thing too, and I'm glad you're bringing that up, too, Rich. I'll say it real quick, then I'll let you go. Is let's not, because we are a boxing channel and we know what we're watching when we're watching boxing. We're not in the casual space. We have to understand that this comeback fight for AJ doesn't make all of us all of a sudden think he's good enough to even beat Tyson Fury. So when they're talking about this Tyson Fury fight coming up next, if I was Tyson Fury's last fight was December 2024. He fought who now is the pound for pound best because Terrence Crawford just retired. I'd take that fight right now because if you let AJ get better, now you're gonna, like instead of like do it now and get it done because they're talking about Tyson Fury might be fighting Makhmudov coming up, and Makhmudov's the guy who just beat Dave Allen. But they're talking about having Anthony Joshua fight Rico Verhoeven. And for you guys who are not familiar who Rico Verhoeven is, it's correct because he's a kickboxing champion who ain't ever even boxed before. And they're talking about that guy being the fight in February for AJ. So, I'm just saying that, just like what you said too, Rich, just because AJ looked the way he did, we shouldn't be saying AJ's back necessarily. It was nice to see you back in the ring.
For sure. Literary Farrah, go ahead, family.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. So Too Rich and Coach, you guys are making too much sense. You guys are too practical. You guys are phenomenal in your assessment of what should have happened. That's the practical approach to take. But I'm going to take you guys to the other side of everything. There's always two sides to everything. And I hear what you guys are saying. Someone should have warned him. Even the way the fight went, the guy was defenseless. Like at some point, it's like, okay, he's not coming back from this. And you're fighting against a guy who has phenomenal knockout power that can rearrange your face, and which is what happened. This is what happens. When I talked about the sacrificial lamb concept earlier, that's what this was. This needed to happen. Now, I know what you guys are saying on the practical end. Everything that Too Rich and Coach are saying, I feel the same way you guys feel. But on the other side, because of all the attention that Jake Paul brought upon himself, the talking about manifesting victories when there's no way in hell you're going to beat a professional, like all those things that he was talking about, this needed to happen to satisfy the audience's blood for the thirst for blood. Thirst for blood, meaning that if the fight ended any other way than that, then people would have said it was scripted. Let's say the referee stepped in and stopped the fight because Jake Paul was defenseless. Then all the boos would have came in. It would have hurt the sport of boxing, because here we go with this clown WWE type boxer setting up fights again. Oh, the referee saved him. I think Jake Paul knew when he got punched and he had that look on his face. It's almost like he knew, like, okay, I got caught. This is how it feels. I got my money. I'm good. And I think that that's the sacrificial part that I'm talking about. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys have watched that movie, Passion of Christ. I'm not a religious person at all, but I remember watching that movie, Passion of Christ, when Jesus was getting beat, and he laid down, but then he got back up as if to say, finish the job. And I think that Jake Paul getting KO'd was the finishing of the job. And I think that needed to happen to take boxing from where it was currently to where it needs to go. And I say that in a spiritual sense, because everything you guys are saying makes sense. All the things you said is supposed to happen. Warn him. Don't fight this guy. He's going to kill you. Hey, throw in a towel. Those things could not have happened, because all of the negative attention that Jake Paul was bringing along with the positive, people say he's scripting fights, he's turning boxing into a mockery, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's no more mockery. He has 2 broken jaws, 7 lost teeth. He took it on the chin, literally. And I think from now on, we have boxing back in its normal space, and Jake Paul can take about 2 years to heal. He's not $1 million richer. He has more investments that are coming. He's going to be fine. He can buy new teeth and buy a new jaw, and we can move on.
Yeah, and look, man, MVP benefited. The fighters got the platform. The company benefited. MVP Promotions benefited off of his sacrifice. Salute, Kyle. What's good with you, family? I know you was in and out trying to get in here, man. I appreciate your patience, brother. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm chilling. Salute to the panel. Yeah, man. I think the fight was, at this point, it's like all of the, the clamor has kind of died down, rightfully so. AJ went in there and got the job done. It is what it is. I wouldn't have cared if it took him 8 rounds to stop him. I wouldn't have cared if it went to decision. But I did figure that Anthony would essentially win. If my bet would have been placed, it would have been on AJ by decision. But he got him out of there. He's a huge dude. He's a super heavyweight. He had him a gold medal in that division for a reason. I mean, in that Olympic division. And Jake couldn't handle that pressure and that behemoth being in front of him. And the whole running thing, I think it could have worked better if he wasn't actually running, if he did more of like a boxing style running, lateral movement and pivoting. But he was just running, like he was running from a dog or something. So, that's not how you move in the boxing ring, even though it was 22 by 22. So, everything happened like it was supposed to, and AJ did, put on a little bit of different attire. He usually comes out with that white and black. He usually wears Leon gloves, like y'all mentioned. But yeah, I guess he just wanted to give, himself a different look, and I'm excited. It does show people what a real heavyweight looks like, and it shows people that you can't play boxing, but also know your limits as a person, and that was definitely Jake's limit, big time. So.
Yeah, it was way above his limit.
Hey, can I say something real quick, Clay?
Wait, hold on. Wait, 1 second. I see Ray moving his lips. I don't know if he's trying to say something or.
I'm on mute. I'm not on mute.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, we hear you now.
Oh, I was gonna say I was actually chewing, but I was gonna say something earlier.
Oh, you went okay.
But just to the whole point that everybody's making, all these things make sense. I think legitimately we're really forgetting the factor that maybe his corner did have points of not stopping this fight, because you got to remember, as a fighter too, when you're outdone, he should have sat his ass on the stool, or the ref should have stopped the fight. We forget that there's other aspects of this fight that should have been stopped. You have doctors and everything. The ref never even called the doctor up there to see if he was okay between rounds after the knockdowns and things like that. So there's definitely the fight must go on situations written all over this. No matter what happens, we need it to happen. And I'm telling you, I believe wholeheartedly that Jake damn, I just called him Jake Boxing. That's his new nickname, y'all. Jake Paul did this for boxing. I'm telling you for a fact, I know that he wanted to bring a professional in there to show that there's levels to this. And he built his platform in the United States backs to bring all the fans and the casuals to the sport to show why you don't play boxing. I think it's actually counteractive on his part. A lot of people don't see it that way, but why wouldn't you stop it? I don't think he wanted a broken jaw, but I damn sure think that he wanted to let the world know that, boxing is a premium sport, and we need to recognize it as such, because these athletes put themselves on the line. And I don't think that people respect it enough. And he always showed that, him being his clown modes and joking around and all that he did take the sport seriously when he did take it seriously. And I think he wanted to show the fans that boxing is not a game. And I think that's what he really brought to the sport. But, that's just subjective. But, stupid move, though, at the end of the day, because like we was talking about, man, he could have ended up unalived. And, thank goodness he did it. And all the people that did lose their lives or have serious circumstances because of boxing, they didn't receive the accolades and the attention that he got. So, touch base on that as well. And I'm glad we mentioned that, because it's sad, man. It's sad to see that the sport is not recognized for what it is, and people are putting their lives on the line to entertain us.
Yeah. I agree.
Going back to eating.
Yeah. Now, did you guys get an opportunity to see the Pro Box card?
Yeah, Clay, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can hear me? Mic check. We
Loud
good?
and clear,
Pro Box card.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear him. Damn.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
don't know
fix
why.
something.
Yeah, something's going on. I'm about to be like, man, as much as I pay for this damn equipment, this shit better be working. So Pro Box, did anybody catch it? Because we're about to close up the show in a minute, but I wanted to know, did anybody catch a Pro Box card, which I thought was the card of the weekend? I thought that card was listen.
Oh, I don't know about that. Now, timeout, Clay. You didn't get to watch the Africa card this morning. You also
the card that I saw. That card that I gotta.
yeah.
I'm gonna literally sit down, probably tonight and chill, and then I'm gonna watch that.
And then also there's the Salida promotions card happening right now. Then there's also the WBC Grand Prix that happened earlier this morning. So we got to be fair and see it all.
Nah, man, that Pro Box card was epic, bro. That was a very action-packed card, bro. I don't know, bro.
You guys are telling me you guys didn't see Demore and Andrew Tate fight? You guys didn't see that?
I ain't see it. Who won?
I saw it on Twitter that the Andrew Tate guy lost, I guess.
I only have so much limitations, HLB, man.
Yeah. There's too much boxing to go on to catch that shit. But and then especially when you're charging for it, you really need to go somewhere with that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
F that, man. The Pro Box card was crazy, bro. I mean, we had a double knockdown on there. What was it? Joe Sean James and Johan Lear Martinez. I don't know if I'm saying it correct, but there was a double knockdown in that fight. Great action-packed fight. We watched Marlon Harrington put on the clinic and just put Brian Polaco the hell up out of his damn misery. There was some great fights on that card. We didn't catch on that. Of course, we saw Ramon Cardenas, get himself a TKO as well.
Polanco got beat.
Polanco, not Rohan Polanco.
Okay.
Actually, Rohan Polanco just had a fight announced. He's going to be co-main eventing. He got an opponent on.
Who's the opponent? Who's the opponent?
Christian Rodriguez, Christian Gomez, Christian Gomez.
Tiger Johnson dropped the ball, man.
Christian Gomez, bro. He did not get himself a good opponent. I don't even know who this Christian Gomez dude is, low key.
Do they have a TV yet, Clay, or what's going on? Where are we watching?
Nah, it's just Top Rank.
Telemundo, man. Guapa Televisión en Puerto Rico.
And Tubi, I'm sure.
Okay, Christian Gomez, 23-6. That's
yeah,
who you
bro.
got.
So they're getting ready to do their thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's what's happening with Rohan. We'll see if they're going to be able to figure out something for Rohan Polanco, because he needs to be in some better conversation than some Christian Gomez nonsense. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Thank you in advance. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It's about that time. I don't know if there's any topics we really didn't cover. I just really wanted to talk on this Jake Paul card and get the community involved in the conversation. Is there anything we missed, Reyes or Ray?
No.
What did y'all say about Baumgart?
Yeah, we talked about her for like a whole half hour. We
okay.
We talked about Carolina, but what do you think about Baumgartner?
Compared to the last fight, she looked good. Great counter punching. She did some good counter punch. I thought she could be a little bit more active, but she looked better than the last fight. I'll say that. Who then Bosey trainer for the last fight, and she with Derek James?
No,
she's just with Derek James. Yeah, just Derek
okay.
James.
Well, she looked better this fight. I give her that though. She hey man, she got a little power, man. I know she didn't get the girl out of there, but I could tell the way she's throwing her punches, man. She looked better than the last fight. I'll say that much. It was an improvement.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking about it actually comparison. What'd you think about Caroline?
Hey man, I thought she was pretty good. I actually thought she had a chance, but clearly Baumgart just a step above her in talent. But I like the way the girl fought though. I thought she was gonna catch Baumgart. I mean, she did a couple times, but I don't think clearly Baumgart punches were hurting her worse.
No, I'm talking about Caroline Dubois. Caroline.
Oh no, I missed that one. I missed Caroline. I missed that one. Well, how'd it go?
She put on a masterclass, bro. But I think the
opponent. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
It was a good outing for both ladies, and definitely an argument in the positive direction as far as seeing them fight each other. I think a lot of people want to see that fight now more than ever. It is what it is. But listen, guys, it's about that time for me, man. I'm not into the marathon shows anymore. That's not my thing. I'm not into the 5-6 hour, you know what I'm saying, shows unless we're covering some fights or something. It is what it is. There's only so much you could talk about these topics. Listen, we move forward, man. Next week we have a Ring Magazine's final
night of the Samurai, baby.
Samurai next week. And I'll be covering that fight for sure. We'll be calling that fight play-by-play on that fight. And we'll be talking about it more during the week, right? We'll get into the card, break down the fights that are on the card a little bit, man. Boxing is a good space, man. Shout out Jake Paul. Heal up, brother. Heal up. Take your time. Enjoy your money. You know what I'm saying? You went for it. You tried to do something special. But reality's a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You can't just will everything into you could will yourself into the fight, but you might not be able to will yourself into the win. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Literary Pharaoh, that's the title of the ring card. It's called Night of the Samurai. Night of the Samurai.
Yeah, Night of the Samurai is going to be the monster Inoue and
Nakatani and all that.
Yeah, Nakatani, Kenshiro Taraji. It's all the baddest MFers from 122 on down. Is you gonna watch?
Yeah, no doubt. So it is what it is, man. Salute to everybody, man. Until the next one, man. You already know how we carrying. It's at ATP Combat Media Show. It's your boy Rain. And at this point, we out.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say, I got him picking up the pieces. Better me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same.
Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing.